Check 1, 2. Let's see. We're loading. We're loading. Let's see. Let's see. Let's give it a second. All right. We are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Let's see. Let me double check over here really quick. Yes, we're live. All right, y'all. Welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the stream. If you are watching for the first time, what we do here at Track Talk are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultations for artists, producers, engineers, musicians, songwriters, and anything in between. If you have never been here before, these are a really in-depth, long-form, multiple listen analysis of the structure of your music. Our sole goal is to offer tips and tools and some professional feedback, a professional second set of ears, if you will, to offer you some tools and some insight, hopefully to help you polish and improve the structure of your music. If that sounds interesting to you, Jack, welcome in over on TikTok. If that sounds interesting to you, then you can find all of the details for submitting to the live stream by going to my link tree over on TikTok, hitting !submit on Twitch, or going to the description on the YouTube live stream. We are now live on all 3 of those platforms. So, yo, welcome in. I'm excited to get things moving here. Welcome in, welcome to the family. For those of you who are coming in for the first time, I'm going to start updating some things as we go. But once again, if you would like to submit for a consultation, just make sure that you find that link either through Twitch, YouTube, or through TikTok. And I'm going to get some things updated over here in just a moment, and we'll get some things flowing. Let's see. Let's go. Let's go. KS, welcome in. What's up, KS? King Creole, it's good to see you, man. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right, let me pull this up over here on my phone really quick so I can make sure everything is running smoothly. I appreciate you hopping in. Dude, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing fantastic. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Let me get this up and running over here. Give me just one moment, y'all, and we'll get things flowing. Let's see. Thank you so much for the heartbeat. It goes crazy on the screen for a second. Anytime there's heartbeat. Thank you for the heartbeat, Libby. Paul Fullwood, I appreciate you hopping in as well. Welcome into the stream. I appreciate you hopping in. Let me get this up here so I can make sure everything is looking clean. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, y'all. How y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling? How you feeling? Welcome into the live stream, y'all. If you're over on TikTok, make sure you are tapping the screen. Share out the live with a few people. We're going to get going with some consultations here in just a bit, in just a minute. So if you are coming in and you are looking for a full detailed consultation, 20 to 30 minutes long, in-depth into the structure of your music, then you can find all of those details by going to my link tree. If you're on Twitch, !submit. If you're on YouTube, go to the description. You'll see everything you need right there. G-Trail's in the building. What's up, G-Trail? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic, man. It's good to see you. Yeah. Let's see. Let me update this. I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm on late. I'm not, as you know very well, I'm not typically on this late. We're on late today. Probably just for a few hours. We'll get through a couple consultations, and then we'll get some things flowing. All right, let me update this over here as well. But I'm so glad to see you, man. I hope you're doing fantastic. Life's treating you okay. Let's see. Let's move this over here. All right, let's throw it up. All right, perfect. We're alive. Life is good. Can't complain. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Y'all, thank y'all so much for hopping in over on TikTok. I see some new people joining. Thank you so much for tapping the screen as well. Make sure that y'all are sharing out the live. Don't forget to send in your heartbeat for the day. It does help build exposure for the live stream as well as for y'all if you are sending in your music. So make sure you tap the screen, share out the live with a few people. And then once again, if you are looking to submit your music, you can find all of the details right here on the screen. Just follow the steps that are right here. If you're on TikTok, you can find that link in my profile. If you're on YouTube, go to the description on Twitch, hit !submit, and you'll see all the details you need right there. Once again, for those of you who are coming in for the first time, these are 20 to 30 minutes long. Each consultation that we do for artists, producers, engineers, musicians, songwriters, we're going to go really in depth into the structure of your mix and master, production elements, sound design, lyric and song structure, so on and so on. The sole purpose is to offer actionable and professional feedback on the structure of your music. And for those of you who don't know, if you have never been here before, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. So what I do for a living is what I've done for 13 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician. So if you are wanting to get into the details, and the mic is clipping. Is it distorting a bit? Let me see. Let me double check some things real quick, y'all. I don't want it to be, it might just be TikTok being TikTok. Double check, Libby, if you don't mind, double check on YouTube. Double check on YouTube because it's the same stream going to all the different platforms. So I just want to make sure. I'll check some settings on here as well just to make sure. Yeah. Double check really quick. I'll look at a few things here real quick. In fact, this might be, I might need to adjust this vocal chain, but let me see. Check. Check 1 2, check 1 2. I'm not hearing any distortion on my end. So I'm hoping it, you know, I guess not hoping, but I'm hoping it's just something with TikTok, because it's coming through clear on my end so far. But I can, let's see. I'm gonna back off this a little bit. Back off that. Sounds good. Yeah, it could just, you know, it might just be so far so good on you. Okay, and it's the same stream to Twitch, so you know it's probably just something a little random. Something a little random going on. Something with TikTok's conversion or compression or whatever it means. Yeah, it's just TikTok being TikTok as usual. Y'all, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all being here. What is today? Saturday. I have no idea what day it is. I feel like I'm just all over the place. Chilling with the lo-fi in the background though. Just vibe into a lo-fi Christmas. I'm just gonna keep promoting this every year because I don't put out anything new. I never put out new stuff, so I will just continue to promote this. I had the early release from like 5 years ago. Finally released it last year, and then just, you know, I posted it 3 times. I went back and checked. I posted it 3 times. It's horrible. I'm horrible. It's not. Rich Alex, welcome in. I'm not great at promoting my own stuff, but go check out a lo-fi Christmas if you want. You know, a couple, you know, chill Christmas lo-fi tracks. I need to be so much better about putting my stuff out there. I feel like I'm too overwhelmed to make good promotion for it, so I just keep doing the same thing. But it is vibey. It is vibey. All right, let me get this moving. Let's see. It's time. Yeah, exactly. It's all the same. Nothing's really changed about it, so I'll just keep it there. Maybe I'll just like keep adding to it. Maybe we'll do like a V2 next year when maybe I have a little bit more capacity to create more of my stuff, which I would love. You know, that'd be very exciting. I just have not had. Yeah, you know, it's nothing. You know, it's in a halfway. You know, I originally mixed this like 5 years ago and just remastered the 2-track, but they're still vibey. They still sound pretty good. I don't mind them. It's kind of nice because it's low fidelity anyway, so I don't. It doesn't have to be like this like perfect pristine pop mix, right? You can there's a little bit of leeway. Y'all keep tapping the screen. We're already at 1.6. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for tapping the screen. Share out the live with a few people you think would be interested in the structure of this live. Don't forget to send in your harmony for the day, and we're gonna get moving hopefully with some consultations and some music here in the very near future. Nancy's in the building. What's up, Nancy? Welcome in. How are you feeling today? Dom Lambo's in the building. What's up, Dom? Welcome into the live stream. JR Odd, thank you for being here. Nancy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for the follow. That means a lot. How are y'all feeling today? Welcome in. Quick reminder that if you are looking for a long-form consultation for the structure of your music, you can find all the details. If you're on TikTok, just go to my profile, click on the link. You'll see all the details that you need there in order to submit. We're wide open right now. We just hopped on. We're just chatting. We're just getting things flowing here, waking up the algorithm a little bit, and then we'll get moving with some consultations here in just a little bit. Kimura's in it. Kimura, it's good to see you, Kimura. Hope you're doing fantastic. Wubsy, the DJ Wubsy's in the building. It's good to see you, family. I hope you're doing fantastic. Hello, beautiful Wubsy. It's so good to see you, man. I hope you're doing fantastic. How are you feeling tonight, man? Boom, 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 boom. I know. I know. Same, Libby. I feel like it's been like eons. Dee Dee, welcome in. Dee Dee, how are you feeling today? Deb is in the building. What's up, Deb? Kimura, good to see you. Working on a little music. I love to hear it. And Deb, Libby's finally here. I know. I feel like every time Deb hops in, Deb's like, and Libby, if you're out there, Libby, if you're out there, hello. And then Libby's always working or doing something. So it's great that Libby's actually in the chat today. Shout out to Deb. Deb is so supportive, so encouraging here in the live stream. Kimura, it's so good to see you, man. I hope you're doing fantastic. Thank y'all so much for hopping in. Just real quick, if you want to submit, follow the details, follow the steps that are right here on the screen. We'll get you moving in the right direction. We'll throw up the list here in a little bit once we start to get some things flowing. Yeah, Deb's the best. Deb's awesome. We love Deb. Let me catch up on some chat here a little bit too. Thank y'all so much for liking the live. I appreciate y'all hopping in. What are y'all up to today? We'll chat a little bit while we're getting some things rolling for the consultations. While we're waiting to get things kick-started here, we can chat a little bit, connect a little bit. So y'all talk to me about what's going on. Kimura, I feel like it's been a minute. So good to see you, man. That's true. It's true. I still love this like Rhodes. I'll be honest with you. Let's crank it for a second. We're just having fun. Hey. I don't make a lot of stuff like this. This is fun. It's fun to just like freestyle, mess around with these things. All right, let me double check a few things here real quick, y'all. We're about to get some things rolling. I see Kimura. I see Kimura. Another spammer from Discord. Dude, it's a nightmare. It's all over the place. I feel like everything is just like spam and KX, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you up into the live stream. I feel like everything is just like spam these days. There's so much bullshit you got to deal with. Okay, let me update the line here really quick. Let me throw it up. Electric Owl is over on YouTube. Welcome in. Greetings from South Wales, New York, USA. Hope everyone is well. Chaz, I'm so glad you're over on YouTube. Thank you for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the stream over on this side. I saw you hopping on TikTok, I think a second ago. I'm so glad you're over here. You do get a little bit of a more broad experience over on YouTube and Twitch, specifically YouTube. I feel like the quality is really good on YouTube, and you get a bit of a more high quality experience. Although we love TikTok, it's just a little glitchy sometimes. All right, let's get Kimura up on the board. Got you. I appreciate you hopping in so much. It's been a while since we've heard a Kimura track. No, literally, it's everywhere. The spam is everywhere. So I'm reading chats on all the different platforms right now. Y'all, thank y'all so much for hopping in. I see a couple people on Twitch, a couple people on YouTube. I see y'all over on TikTok as well. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Really quick, if you are wanting to submit, you can find all of the details for submitting for a consultation, which I'll describe here in a second, by going to my profile and clicking on the link on TikTok. Go to my description on YouTube and click on or hit !submit in the chat on Twitch. If you are wanting to submit for a consultation, let me explain really quick what the consultations are. What we do here at Track Talk are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultations on the structure of your music. We're going to get into your mix and master, production elements, sound design, and lyrics. We'll get into song formatting and structure, so on and so on. Really, whatever would best serve you and best benefit you on your journey and creativity is really my goal with these consultations. So So that's going to be different for everyone. Everyone's in a different position, in a different genre, different level of skill and experience in the industry, and as a professional in their field, or even just as a hobbyist in their field. So everyone's in a different place. So my goal is just to offer tools, a professional second set of ears, to give you hopefully some tips and some tools and some insight that would help you grow and polish what you're doing, so you can enjoy the process even more and have an even more authentic and accurate representation of your ideas when it comes to creating what you're creating. If that is interesting to you, just go to those details I mentioned. Excuse me. Go to the details that I mentioned earlier. Go to that. Go and find that link, and you'll see everything that you need in order to submit. It's not new. What's up, Life Explosion? Welcome in, man. It's not new since the last probably couple months or so. It looks a little bit better, I think, over on, let me see. Yeah, it looks a little bit better over on YouTube and Twitch. King Creole, I got you. Let me throw up the line really quick. Appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for sending that in. Sounds good, man. We got a legend in the building. King Creole is an amazing artist. Perfect, dude. I'm so glad. No, yeah, last couple months I've had this exact setup, so nothing's really changed about that. But probably the last month or so it's been pretty consistent. All right, we got King Creole up on the board. Yo, you're totally good, man. You're totally good. I'm glad it sounds great. All right, we got Kimura, we got King Creole. I got TK up from the other day as well. Just want to maintain their. Let me go ahead and save theirs really quick, because they haven't been back in a week or two. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep them over here so I can make sure the list is fresh. Perfect. Yeah, right. It might be the Christmas lighting. It might very well be the Christmas lighting that's making it feel vibey in here. And and the Torvik Christmas lo-fi. I'm not gonna lie, it's a vibe. El Sari, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Holiday glow, I know. Feeling jolly. All right, let's see. Yeah, let me get this down. All right, we got TK saved. But yeah, so we got, it's pretty much a similar setup, but it is, it's a very high quality camera. So it does make a difference, because it looks quite a bit higher quality than just using your phone or using a webcam or something like that. It definitely makes a difference. Need a snowman playing the piano here. Right. I need some graphics and stuff like that. Wait, hold on. Let me check over here. Kimura, you're so kind, man. Shouts to Kimura. Jan, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you for the love. It means more than you know, man. I appreciate your generosity so much. Big shout out to Kimura in the chat. Drop some W's for Kimura in the chat. I don't even do that. Drop some W's for Kimura in the chat. CR, welcome in. Let's see. Been working, had 2 songs dropped Friday, one with the hook I did for Lofo. Let's go. Finally come back to TikTok. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Wubsy W. Shout out to King Creole too, man. This is a very, very talented artist. I'm excited to hear what you've been working on, man. Very, very, very excited. Yeah, huge shout out to Kimura. Kimura, you're amazing. I appreciate you so much. Nando, welcome in. Nando, welcome into the chat as well. Let's get rolling with some music, y'all. Let's get rolling with some music. Let's shut down the lo-fi over here, and let's get into some consultations, y'all. Let's get into some consultations. Let's bring this back over here. W. All right, let me make sure I got everything pulled up over here. Quick reminder before we get everything rolling, I'm just going to mention this over the course of the live as we get things moving. If you want to submit for a consultation, just go to my profile, click on the link. You'll see everything you need there on TikTok. Go to my description on YouTube and hit !submit on Twitch, and y'all will see all the same link. It'll point you in the right direction. It'll give you the details and the format for the live stream so that you know what you're submitting to, and exactly where to send credit, and of course where to send the email. We've got some music to get to. We have Kimura in the building. Kimura, let me double check something. I'm not seeing anything in spam, and I'm not seeing an email from you, so just double check, Kimura, really quick, that it is going to the Track Talk submission email. the one that is at the current link tree, just so I make sure everything's going to the right place. I see Noki from yesterday. I see Quando from yesterday. Yesterday, and King Creole, I got your email, so you're set. But just double check it really quick. Yeah, double check really quick. Make sure you get that updated, and then we'll get things rolling. We'll get things rolling. I'm excited to get in some music, y'all. Where's my MIDI cutting out? I'm missing maybe every 10. Am I missing a comment? Let me see. I don't think your last comment came in, Libby. Yeah, I think it filtered. Yeah, I think it did filter. I say what this guy said. Every 10,000 likes. Ho ho ho. Wait, ho ho ho. Am I allowed to say that, TikTok? Come on, this is Christmas. It's the spirit of Christmas. Every 10,000 likes. Yeah. And I was like, wait, but what precisely is happening every 10,000 likes? Trevor, welcome in. I know they're blocking Santa Claus now. Come on. You're blocking Santa Claus TikTok? What do you mean? That's crazy. That's crazy. I was like, yeah, what specifically is happening with that? Santa! Southern Grit, welcome in. All right, Kimura, I got you. It is King Creole. It's nice. And it's technically like the same feed, but TikTok has so much compression and squeezing and weird translation stuff going on. I also have to like send it to another computer for it to work on TikTok. It's annoying. But yeah, things are vibey over here. They're vibey. We have like office cams where it can be like someone does something crazy in their music. We're just like, the hell? And then we move back. It's great. It's fun. All right, let's had to zoom through my details. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like all my emails are completely full. All right, now it is time. The gym zoom, right? Now let's get into some music, y'all. Let's get into some music. Let me throw up the line really quick so we can kind of see where we're at. We got Kimura in the building. Kimura, I am pulling up your track right now, and we're going to get into some music here in just a second. Let's dive in. We have How Can I by Kimura. This is master version 11. I know how that feels. And then it says synth. I don't know what synth means at the end of the label for this file, but as someone who loves synth, I am pre-excited, if you will. That sounds pause. I'm excited before I even hear the song. Pre-excited is a term I've never used before, but let's see what's going on here. Let me get this downloaded. Give me just a second. Mixed, mastered, produced, and recorded by Kimura. Aha. Yeah. He's like, hold on 1 second. I gotta watch my words. I don't really have to watch my words on YouTube and Twitch with the better view, but TikTok is sensitive. They're very sensitive. So I gotta watch what I say. I don't know if I can say pre-excited over on TikTok. All right, let's download it. Yeah, I don't know if that's in the TOS. I don't know if it's in their policy on TikTok to say pre-excited. All right. Kamara said, "Oh, because I added some ear candy towards the end. That's why it says it just says synth. The file name is just how can I Kamara Master V11 synth. Love it. So I'm so excited. In fact, I'm pretty excited. Let's get into the music, y'all. It is time for our first consultation of the evening. This song is called "How Can I" by Kamara. It is downloaded. Let's get into it. We will begin now our detailed consultation of Kamara's track. Let's dive in, y'all. I'm excited to listen to it. Kamara, of course, you're over on TikTok. If you happen to have any additional details you would like me or the chat to know, you know the deal. Drop it in the chat, and we can talk about that over the course of the breakdown of this track. So, "How Can I" by Kamara. Eversnow, welcome in, welcome in. I'm so glad you were able to join. Let's dive in.
How can I love you like you love me, love you in everything and all that I see? How can I love you in everything, love you for who you are, you say to be? How can I love? How can I love? How can I love? How can I see? How can I breathe? How can I see for who you are, who you are to me? I thought that I had it all figured out, but you took the words coming right from my mouth. Thought I was hoping, but you got me asking how can I help you when you are in need? The same way you did when you comforted me. I'm curious to see how it helps through everything. I just wanna tell you, I don't wanna fight, I don't wanna make you cry because of mine. Lack of understanding how to love you right. I don't wanna screw up, it happens every time. I don't wanna fail you, I don't wanna fail. I just wanna tell you how I really feel right now. I don't wanna fail you now.
Let's go, Kamara.
I just wanna ask you for the time to learn a bit about you. I can read your mind, I feel like I know you, I feel like I don't. Is it feeling longer? Life is feeling short. Show me how to show it. Can I take a moment? Hold it till I know it. Hold it till I get this right. Love you till the end of time. How can I love you? How can I love you? How can I love you?
Y'all, give it up one time for Kamara. The song is called "How Can I." This is unreleased at this point. And if I've read the chat, sorry, I'm going to catch up on some chat here in just a second. I want to make sure I could just put the full focus on the song in front of me. I see a bunch of new people coming into the chat as well. I see y'all joining the live stream. Thank y'all so much for being here. I think I saw Toria, Quail, a couple other people. Thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate you being here so much. If I read the chat earlier correctly, this is your first production, Kimura? Respond to that really quick. I want to make sure that I read that earlier correctly. It's a bit farther down in the chat. But is this your first production that you've done for yourself? If that's true, let me know. Let me know. Let me go back through one of my first 3. Y'all give it up one time for Kimura. That's amazing, man. One of your first 3 productions is pretty impressive. This was the only completed one. That's very, very impressive. Man, show some love to Kimura. And Kimura, you mentioned wanting bass boost on your phone. Just so so everyone is aware, it's a bit compressed on TikTok, especially if you don't have headphones, of course. That it's not going to sound as good, but I do get the full, like I'm coming straight out of my interface from my computer. So I'm getting the full mix that you sent in. So whatever you sent me is exactly what I'm hearing. It might sound a little bit different to y'all once it's like converted and compressed on TikTok and stuff like that. I'm getting the full thing. It's coming straight out of my computer into the reference headphones. So you're good to go. Let's get straight into the song, man. Let's get straight into the song. This is for one, I want to give credit where credit is due and shower praise where you deserve it. The structure of this song, I think, is fantastic. You have a great voice. It's a really, really cool vibe. I think the aesthetic is fantastic. And your structure, like the hook of the song versus your verse, going into some of your bridge and your outro, it does feel very dynamic. It does feel very alive. We'll talk in depth about some mix details because I think that's where you need to put the most focus. But your structure is really, really good. And even in your production, the way that you're filling in with your counter melodies on the synth, the beautiful. Like there's a lot of things that you're doing that I think are fantastic that you've done very, very well. The main thing I want to hone in on is the structure of your mix. Just like Libby said, you should be so proud of the work. I've heard a lot of your early stuff, so you should be so proud of the work that you're putting in on this record, man. You're very talented. Okay. First thing, before we go back into the song, as we always do, we're going to go back through the song and we'll chop through some details. Jay, welcome in. We'll chop through some details. The first thing I want to mention, even before playing it again, which we'll do here in just a second, is the kind of the concept of contrast in your mix. The thing that I noticed initially about this record is that everything is loud and everything is forward. And if everything is loud, then nothing is, right? If everything's quiet, then nothing's quiet. You need contrast, right? In order to experience the dynamics of the song. So my first recommendation would be to really decide what to you are your non-negotiables in this mix that need to be forward, that need to be punchy, that need to be loud and a bit more dynamic. Let's say that's maybe like piano, bass, drums, and lead vocal. And then everything else, make sure is kind of filling in the gaps and giving you space, giving you ambiance, giving you the width that you're looking for, giving you the dynamics and the fill that you're looking for. But right now, everything is forward. So we'll get into that specifically in a couple little sections of the song, but you get into like your second hook and I'm hearing like the drums loud, the piano velocity on your VSTs at like 127. It's like fully like the piano is kind of... It's full on. It's really, really loud and really, really forward with like, 100% velocity. And then the synth comes in and it's loud. And then the bass comes in, it's loud. The vocal and its stacks are very loud. And so what happens is I can't really pick up on, even though I know it's there and I like the way it like sounds tonally, I like how it sounds. I'm not able to like pick up on like the nuances of what's going on or really feel the restraint or emotion of what you're singing about and the structure of the song because everything is so forward. You need a bit of restraint in order to hear the impact when things really do go full on and you have a climax on your last hook, right? You want there to be dynamics. You want there to be some range. So we'll go through some specific suggestions as we get into the structure of the song, but that's the first thing that I noticed is everything is kind of full on. And so you're at 120% and you're dialed up to 11 as soon as the song starts. All the while it being a pretty like vulnerable, intimate, like R&B record that to me has a lot of heart and a lot of emotion and a lot of vulnerability, but at the same time feels like loud and forward and intense. And I want to find the balance between those two things so that it makes sense sonically, right? That what you're singing about and how you're singing makes sense in the mix as well. One of the concepts that I always talk about is making sure that everything is pointed in the same direction. So if this is a vulnerable, intimate, emotional song, does the production sound like that? Does the mix point in that direction? Make sure everything points in that direction, or at least is complementary to what you're trying to facilitate. All right, let me catch up on a couple chats here really quick, just to make sure that I've got everything that I need detail-wise, and that I'm catching up on what people are sending in really quick. Yeah, you should be so proud, Kimura. You're amazing. I'm working on the same concepts. What should be louder? 100%. Pianos. Oh, yeah, I agree. Creel, 100% agree. Console, do you know? Yes, Snow, 100%. Yeah, this is our first one actually. Snow. I'm on late. Too late. Let me throw up the line really quick so y'all can see while I'm catching up on some stuff. We got Kimura, Creel in the building. Let's see real quick. Okay, beautiful. Let's get into it, Kimura. Let's run it from the top and let's get into some of these details. Talk to me really quick, Kimura. Just remind me what you are recording with, vocally speaking. Talk to me about what you're recording with. Like, what's your environment like? What mic are you using? Interface, if you feel like, let me know. Give me some details on your tracking, and then let's get into the record. All right, How Can I by Kimura. Let's run it back. Totally feel that. Let me mention that actually really quick. Electric Owl Works over on YouTube said the contrast concept is totally valid. It also holds true with saturation. Perhaps consider keeping some things with no distortion and only saturating critical elements. Nice work. Great praise for what Kimura's doing as well. I completely agree. Things only exist in their contrast, right? With a range of dynamics, right? So, like I said, if everything is distorted, then there's no like contrast to make that matter. If everything's loud, there's nothing to like give you a contrast that makes that matter, right? That's why you'll hear like, even in, let's take like metal or something like a heavy metal genre or EDM or whatever it may be. Oftentimes, if it's well structured, you'll hear a dramatic contrast to that, right? It'll like, taking EDM or like a really, really like hard style electronic music or something like that. Oftentimes you'll get this like really, really interesting contrast between like really beautiful melodic elements and then the craziest breakdown you've ever heard in your life. Same with metal, where oftentimes you'll hear, guttural, like false chord screams that are going absolutely crazy. And then all of a sudden this like beautiful, clean guitar and like a pure, clean lead vocal that's really melodic over the top. And then you go crazy again. That contrast is what makes all those amazing moments matter. It's what gives them impact in the structure of the mix. So I would highly recommend that when it comes to structuring your songs, structuring your productions, and of course, getting into how you process and how you mix, really focus on creating contrast. That's part of what gives emotion, offers emotion to the record, right? It makes you feel something. It gives you a level of dynamics you wouldn't otherwise have. So I would definitely focus on the processing structure there and make sure that it does offer you some contrast. Half Treated Room, first half of the song on an SM7B, Sennheiser E840 for the second half. The E840, that's a vocal dynamic mic, right? I think I had some 835 S's, a couple. I traded them a long time ago. Okay, perfect. Got you. I was going to say, I had a couple pairs of E835 S's that are just like handheld vocal mics. Okay, cool. Let's listen. Let's get into it. Is there, what's the reasoning behind switching microphones? Just so I'm aware of what's happening in your ability to reprocess or retrack with any number of those different elements. I love that. Al. Beautiful. Nice. I love it.
How can I love you?
I love the introduction of like a triplet going into the boom, 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 boom. That texture on the piano is really nice too. Honestly, I don't even know. I just felt like holding the mic since it felt more intimate. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You just have to be really aware of your gain staging. If you're going to be holding your mic close, especially using like a handheld vocal mic. Billie Eilish does this sometimes with the SE handheld dynamic mic. She did some of her like background vocals and even I think a couple lead vocals for her newest album, which has like 8 billion streams with a handheld like $100 SE microphone. And on the flip side of that is then her using like a 251 or like a Chandler Red. So there's some contrast there, but there are some vocals that you can do really well with a handheld mic. Just really have to focus on proximity control, breath control, and of course having just good control of your proximity and stuff like that. Gain staging being some of the most important parts. Helios, welcome in, baby. Good to see you, bro. Let me add to this really quick. Okay, and I will also say there is a pretty big contrast between how different artists sing, like different vocalists sing as well. Helios, I hope you're doing fantastic, man. It has been a minute. I hope you're doing amazing. Yeah, 100%, right? So like there's obviously going to be a contrast between a vocalist like Billie Eilish who's almost whispering some of her vocals. They're like very close proximity. There's not a lot of like wind behind her vocal expression. So it's going to be probably a little bit less sibilant, a little bit less plosive. Everything's going to be a bit closer proximity. So you're not dealing with nearly as much like diaphragmatic support, not nearly as much like wind behind them. Now it's going to change with some of her vocals, obviously, but a vast majority of them. So in your case, you probably, because you're putting a little bit more energy and wind behind your vocal, you probably still want to maintain, at least like 6 to 8 inches of proximity from the microphone to make sure that it's not too plosive heavy. The other thing I would recommend, so I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I have an SM7B right here, and I love this microphone. It's a great microphone. You can hold this as well. So if you need, if you feel more comfortable holding the microphone, just take it off the pin and hold it by its mount on the bottom right there, and just keep the little shock holder that it has and keep it really tight, keep it really consistent. Just make sure you're not bumping it around, just the same way you would with like a handheld vocal mic. But you can definitely hold it if you just feel more comfortable with it. Keep it close and keep it right here, so you still get maybe a higher quality vocal sound. You still get a really like nice like hypercardioid pattern that feels really consistent for you, that especially if you're in a half treated room, it's going to help, with a bit more rejection of that space. I do think you'll get a better recording just sticking with the SM7B. Anyways, that's a little bit besides the point. Let's get in a little bit deeper into the record here. So one of the first things that I'm hearing, let me back this up. So one of the things I would do here, just initially, is personally speaking, what it sounds like to me is that the velocity on this piano has been pushed to the max. So recorded and set in MIDI on those triplets, which I really like. I think that sounds good, especially once the beat comes in. It gives you kind of a little bit of a shift in the energy that I think works really well. But it all sounds very like forward and tinny, and you're getting like the max sample velocity possible. I would personally speak, like once your vocal comes in, everything is so like warm and like as far as like just the aesthetic of the music, it's very like, it's an easy listen, chill, vibey song to have this really forward, bright, tinny piano. I would maybe back off of that just a little bit, maybe even filter down a little bit, like get into, so you're starting on the C sharp major here. Kind of in that structure here. So for me, it's a little, let me go down a notch. Probably a higher octave based on the range that you're in. That little bit of extra dynamic range, instead of it being, let me see. So the difference would be if I go, I'm going to switch to DAW for a second here. This is the piano that I'm currently on. I have the tone really dark. If I bring this tone up here and I'm going to turn the dynamics to 0 and we go, this is with no dynamic range. So this is like 100% velocity, 127, piece velocity here. So. That's like distorting and clipping like crazy. But the idea is that it's like, that doesn't sound bad. Now, if this was like the start of like that almost kind of reminds me of, there's a lot of other songs, but if this was like a classic rock song or like a 50s pop ballad or something like that, that would have a different feel. But this is like an intimate, vulnerable R&B record, right? And so I want to shift processing to make sure that it's pointed in the direction of what you're trying to accomplish with the song, and end up not being so forward with what you have here. Now, obviously, you're playing this a bit differently, so than I would. Let me bring the dynamics back under control. Bring on this volume just a little bit here. I'm going to go with a little bit of a closer mic setup here. So I'm bringing this kind of less roomy, a little bit more direct. And just, it offers you a little bit more space, a little bit. Now, I'm playing this in a kind of a completely different vibe than what you have here. I'm going to go back to your intro here really quick. But I think what I want is for that piano to be able to breathe. If it's like 100% and it's bright and it's tinny and it's forward, that to me just feels like an 80s rock ballad or like a 50s pop record or something. So it's a completely different feel as opposed to like a still, like I still kind of want this to sound like a late 90s R&B record with some like classic, like I have like the Triton LE back there, like a classic 90s, early 2000s R&B record. I still want to have some of that feel, which sometimes means like a sampled, like an old chord or like motif piano structure that can work really well. I still want that to be kind of in what you have here, but not be so velocity heavy. So one, less Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, true. Less Bruce Springsteen. Al said the piano sound is being a bit clamped down by a compressor in the intro. It probably is. My assumption is that you have your velocity 100% forward. It's also very loud. You could also just turn it down a little bit. Bring your amplitude down by a couple dB. Reduce your velocity if it's at 127, if that's what it happens to be. Bring it down to like 90. See if that feels a little bit better. And see if it feels like a little softer and a little bit more organic. My assumption is since everything's so forward that it is, you have to have a compressor on it to pull it back, and it's just really getting clamped down and it's pumping it quite a bit. So I do agree on that. Beautiful. Love it. All right, let's go a little farther. I love it. I mean, your chords are beautiful. These like diminished walk downs, your chromatic movements are great. Like this sounds really cool. It's just so forward, right? So I think it's just balancing that out a little bit, but what you're playing, what you have programmed here and stuff, I think it sounds really cool. I mean, the chimes, the bass slide, that's what I'm saying is like you have so many things going for you. A phenomenal voice. You have a great voice, great structure. The sine bass slide, this really, really tight. I mean, the chimes going across, like you have all of those things that are just like chef's kiss, beautiful. You got all those nailed down. Keep those locked in. Those feel great. Now let's just like back off the intensity a little bit and let the song breathe for a moment. Love you like you. Balance and percussion here. If you want to talk me through what you're doing as far as building your production, let me know. Building your percussion, let me know. Right now, what I'm hearing is a really heavy, really saturated kick and a really light, very quiet snare. So you don't get any of like the snap of, either an actual snap or but the actual like punch and snap of a more forward snare or a clap even, or a snap, or like a cross stick would be great. Like a rim shot would be great. And then a really like heavy saturated like lo-fi snare. I would love, again, if you have really heavy saturation on a kick, it's the perception of intensity, right? Like if I have a really hard hitting kick with a lot of overdrive, a lot of saturation on it, it's highly compressed, then it feels intense. It feels heavy, right? As opposed to like soft and vibey and intimate. I would, again, your sample choice is this is a lot on the production structure and the sound design choice side of things, but the way that you choose sound design makes a huge difference too, right? The exact kick, the exact snare that you use makes a big difference. I don't mind your snare here. Let me hear this. Ziggy, welcome in.
Love you in everything.
But you are getting a lot of overdrive. You're getting a lot of distortion. The snare's not. You could polish it. You could polish it a little bit, but I'm not too worried about the snare. To me, it has a lot to do with the levels of it. It's really quiet compared to the kick, and the kick is distorting quite a bit. Also, so to edit those and display something into the DAW without thinking. No, you're good. You're good. And this is where this can be great, where we can dive, like all the great ideas are there. Now let's just mold them into something that feels a little bit more palatable. There's something that feels a little bit more polished, a little bit more professional, because the ideas are great. The progression is beautiful. Your voice is awesome. It's now just in the processing to make sure that everything makes sense. Everything's pointed in the same direction. So I would address the drums. And now that you said like you just dropped them in there without thinking, now let's think a little bit. Now let's lean into it and let's try to process the snare. You could add a little bit of reverb to that snare or just push it forward a little bit in the mix. Let it open up just a little bit. Should I lower the kick or increase the snare? I mean, I'll probably do a little bit of both. I would just reduce some of the heaviness on the kick as well. So it sounds like either you have a distorted snare or you added distortion or saturation to the snare. I'm sorry, not the snare. I mean the kick. Either you added it to it or it was already there. Either way, I would have it a little bit cleaner and a little bit drier, so there's not so much heaviness to it. Right? It's very. I think you added some, either it's just clipping on its own channel, but I think you maybe added a little bit of saturation too. If you did, just back off just a hair, so it's a little cleaner and a little bit. I mean, I love saturation. We talk about saturation all the time, harmonics all the time. I love that, but you might want to clean that up just a little bit so it doesn't feel so heavy and like it's, like you're clipping and you're pushing it like crazy. And then the snare. One thing that you can do is I would push the snare forward probably about 3 dB-ish. This is up to you, right? But push it forward like 3 dB or so. And then I would probably, my idea would be if you want to keep that snare, layer it on the 2 and 4 to give it some changes in sonics as well as like a little bit of openness and reverb. So what I would probably do, the thing that pops into my head right now would be on the 2 and the 4, add in a snap that has a bunch of reverb to it. So you have dun 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 boom, ka, boom boom, ka, boom, ka, boom boom, shka. And on the 2, on the second snare and the 4th snare, you add way in the background. It doesn't have to be prominent at all. You're asking for nuance and layers and details that just make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more dynamic, and a little bit more open. Right now it's really dry and then quieter. So push it forward a little bit and then play around with like a clap or a snap or something like that, especially in this style, a snap or even like a triangle, something on the 2 and 4 to give it a little bit of nuance and a little bit of change so it's not just that snare every time. Something like that. You don't have to do that. There's not rules to this, but I think it would help make it feel a little bit more interesting and give you another channel, another track that you can add some, you can keep a dry kind of dead snare and another track that has like some reverb and maybe a little delay on it or something like that to make it feel a bit more interesting. Let me skip through really quick. I want to skip through for a second because then I just want to focus on vocals and we'll move on to the next track. Let me just double check that I have everything in order here as well. Snow, I got you. Thank you so much for saying that. And Snow, let me get you up on the board really quick. I'm going to throw up the line for a minute and then we're going to get a little bit deeper into your production. I can't talk. It's all right. That's good. Snow, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for sending that in. Oh, it says one track left. Sorry, y'all. There's not one track left. We got time for a couple. All right. Now let's get into it.
How can I love you in everything?
I also think you have, is there an artificial high harmony to your vocal in here in the background? It kind of sounds like there's a little altar boy or like a melodined everything. It's like the high end way in the background right there. Am I hearing that correctly?
Love you in everything. Love you for who?
Or it might just, it could just be your vocal. Could actually be your vocal, but there's definitely a high octave right behind it.
Love you in everything.
What's happening though, and I'll get your answer here in a second in the chat. What's happening is the loving and everything on that like walk down right there. There's a high octave in the background that a pitched up layer. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like you got like a little altar boy or just like a pitched up octave. The second note, let me hear it one more time, is being auto-tuned to the wrong key. So on that channel, make sure that like, just in this case, we're working off like a C sharp major at the bottom end here. I guess the main structure of the song, it's got a lot of, you know, complementary chords and a lot of accidentals and chromatic and stuff like that. But I think it's in G sharp major, if I'm like hearing all of this correctly. I think it's G sharp major. Make sure that it's not like in G sharp minor, you know, where it's like perfect, but then randomly you'll hear those two notes at the same time. And here, oh my God, there's like one note. It's way in the background. You can barely hear it. There's one note on your high octave that sounds like it went da da da. Instead of going da da da, it went da da da. You know what I mean? Like one of them like went to the minor. So just double check. If it's not that, then it might be something you need to manually correct with like Melodyne or graph mode on Antares or something like that, right? You might need to do it manually, but you can hear it. I'll play it again. In the background on the high harmony, you'll hear the octave that matches and then one note that's like, it's got a whole lot of tension and dissonance to it. So just double check that. Right here. So it's on the, right there. It's like the D sharp. I think it layers with an E. I'm pretty sure. And I hear these two notes at the same time. So I think one is going to a D sharp, which is like your 4, and then one is going to like an E. Double check that. I'll play it one more time because I want to make sure I'm catching the right thing. Yeah. You hear that one little, it's a weird little push right there. Watch that note right there. Make sure that it's tuned correctly so that it matches. Otherwise, there's going to constantly be this like grit and this tension that I don't think serves the structure of the song. I don't mind tension. I think dissonance and tension is beautiful. It's required in music for it to be great. Some tension is just not beneficial to the structure of the song. And so I would recommend that you at least polish that portion of it because it is meant to be a followed octave. And so if it's not, that might be why. So your lead vocals following the G sharp, it's following that perfectly. It's tuned, you know, you have a fair amount of, 20 milliseconds or whatever of auto tune on there. And then it's untuned back there. So it's sharp by like 60 cents or something. And that's giving you a whole lot of tension. It was okay. That makes sense. That's adding up. So polish that portion of it, polish that portion of it, and then you'll be good to go. Let's move a little bit farther into it. Mega Ultra, welcome in over on YouTube. I see you. Thank you so much for hopping in. Can I link a music cover I made of Post Malone Circles? It's not the best, but I tried. Also some Melodyne on it and some other effects on the vocals, but nothing too crazy. 100%. Mega Ultra, if you would like to submit, these are long form consultations. So we're spending about 20 to 30 minutes breaking down the songs in detail from the mix and production structure, vocal elements, vocal production, whatever would best help you and whatever you're looking to get help with. We'll focus on that. Spend 20 to 30 minutes breaking it down for you. If you would like to submit, just go to my description. You'll see a link right there and you can submit straight to that. And then we'll get you up on the board. I'll get you on the list. We got a couple other people. I'll throw up the list really quickly. We have a couple other people on the line right now. You can skip that if you want to and go faster. It's completely up to you, or you can just get yourself on the bass line. But I would absolutely love to hear what you're working on. I appreciate you hopping in over on YouTube. All right, let's go a little bit deeper into this. We'll focus on just like final mix and vocals. I know I'm spending a good amount of time on these tracks, but hopefully it's valuable.
Everything, love you for who you are, you say to be.
Retrack, welcome in.
How can I love? How can I love?
Wait, hold on. Up to you, Snow. Up to you. I got you. So like sound design, great. So my perspective here is, like I said, find your non-negotiable. So for me, listening to this hook, you need percussion to be strong. You need bass to be, heavy. It needs to be forward. Looking to release on the 12th of December. Okay, so you gotta lock in. You gotta lock in and get the. I know you're currently working on it, like at this very moment. So yeah, get some of the stuff locked in. I think you'll be in a good spot. Let's see. Okay, so find your non-negotiables in the song structure, right? So for me, you need your percussion to be forward. It needs to be snappy. You need clarity for your kick. You need a little more punch behind your snare. So facilitating how you do that. That bass needs to be warm and inviting, and it needs great movement, which I feel like it already has in the mix. I actually like where that sits for the most part. Clarity for your vocal, we'll talk about in a second. And then like piano as your main progression. Piano kind of handles most of your progression here. So you need that forward, but you also need it nuanced. You still need the vocal to sit over the top. Everything else, you have another like almost like Selena string stab that comes in there, like early 2000s stab that comes in. Love it, beautiful, but it's really forward. You have another synth walk down that comes in, beautiful, love it. It's very forward. So pull some of those extra elements back. Get them back in the mix as a supportive supportive element that facilitates like the width that you're going for, the dynamics that you're going for, but they don't take over other elements. My assumption is if you produce anything like me, you like everything that you're producing and you want to hear it all loud. But that's not always the best way to facilitate balance in the mix. It's not always like the most aesthetic mix, even though we want to hear all of the different elements that we're producing that we genuinely love. All right, I need to clear this on TikTok. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yes, I'm here, TikTok. Let me do my puzzle. Come on. Supportive elephant. 1 second, Joe. 1 second. TikTok makes me do these checks every once in a while. Let me see. Okay, we're back. Yeah. Okay, got you. I got you, Snow. That's love. I appreciate that. So, King Creole, you'll be going up next. As far as I know right now. So, yeah, supportive elephant. Okay, I gotta make sure that I lock in on this so I can get to the end of this. All right, so choose those non-negotiables. Right now, like we mentioned when we first started it, everything's forward. They're all good things. They're all good progressions, good sounds. I like the way sonically that they all fit in the structure of this production, but something has to give, right? Something's got to give. It can't all be loud. We need to rebalance that a little bit. So I would focus a good amount of time on just restructuring the balance of the mix to find non-negotiables, what has to be there and what's supportive, and make sure that they do actually carry those roles. Okay, let me move a little bit farther. Let's get towards the end here. I'm talking way too much, but it's fine. It's okay. Right here, you got another like format shifted low octave, right? A pitch down low octave as well as your high octave. A lot of energy here and a lot of clipping going on. So the last thing that I want you to kind of address is your gain staging, and then the way that kind of manifests in your mix and your final master. I'm assuming by all kind of criteria that I'm seeing here and all of the things that I'm hearing, there's a lot of clipping going on. That's what I'm saying. Creole, literally, it is great. The structure is there. The flow is great. Your vocal tone is awesome, but you're clipping a lot. So the vocal is clipping. You're getting a lot of distortion on the clipping. You're in the red there. You're getting a lot of over compression. I think because of it, everything's so loud going in. Once those vocal layers come in, they're all clipping. Everything's forward and it's kind of just taking over the mix. So I would start by just backing off of everything by like 5 dB. Just like take the whole mix back by 5 dB. Give yourself some headroom to work with. Everything's really loud and it's all clipping. It's all in the red. The bass is clipping. So you're just getting this breakup. You're getting this distortion. You're getting all of these different like clipping mechanisms, all of this distortion that's not like beneficial to the mix. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes you hit things really, really hard and it sounds really aesthetic. In this case, you are taking you're robbing yourself of clarity in the mix since everything is so loud. So back off of everything by 5 dB, get it all like away from your compressors, get it away from your limiters, get it away from the peak of your track, right? Where you're kind of in the red with a lot of these things, and then kind of reprocess from there. Because right now, everything comes in and then you lose it. It's like not only is it very loud, you can't really distinguish anything anymore. It all becomes one blob of sound in the middle of the mix. And you have some great things here, some great vocal layers, some great lines and runs and melodies and stuff that I'm definitely missing out of, or I'm definitely missing out on when all these elements come forward. Let me get towards the last little part of the part here. I can't think. Last part of the part. And then we'll move on.
I feel like I don't.
Low-key, welcome in.
Life is feeling short, so we how to show it. Can I take a moment? Hold it till I know it. Hold it till I get this right. Love you till the end of time. How can I love you? How can
And then Mega Ultra, go submit by clicking on Track Talk Submission. So this is the Track Talk live stream. So when you go to the link that's in the description there, sorry, I'm catching up on some comments. Julene, thank you so much for hopping in. Go to the Track Talk Submission tab, and that will, all the details are right there. That'll give you the submission to, or I'm sorry, the link to send it to, as well as how to get yourself up on the board, so on and so on. And then we can get you all the details there. A great vocal range, good melodies. You're doing so many things well, Kamora. So many things well. So I just want you to get that balance back under control. I want you to get your levels back under control, and then focus on kind of polishing the processing like we've talked about. I think this is the big, again, I think your ideas are great. Your structure is great. It's going to come largely down to processing and balance. If you can fine tune that, you're going to be in a great place, man. Y'all show some love to Kamora. That song is called How Can I? Okay, so there should be, in the description of the live stream, Mega Ultra, in the description of the live stream, there should be a link tree. If you click on that link tree, there's a tab right near the top that says Track Talk Submission. If you click on that, all of the details for this particular live stream are right there. If it's not there, well, we had someone submit there from YouTube yesterday. So if it's not there for some reason, I'll need to double check something, but it should. That's probably on the Obsidian Key website in a different space. But if you go to the link tree, click on Track Talk Submission, it should take you straight to just the submission form and the details of the submission form. If it's not, I'll have to double check. But someone submitted there yesterday, so it should be good to go. But show some love, y'all, to Kamora. Kamora, you're amazing. You're talented. There's so much untapped potential with what you're doing, man. You're genuinely a very, very talented individual. So I appreciate you sending this in so much. We got another track here. We have King Creole in the building. Let's get into it. Once again, if you do want to submit your music, I'm going to throw it up on the screen here really quick. If you would like to submit your music for a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultation, if you're on TikTok, just follow the link right here. So these are all the details. This is the same link that's on every profile. So on Twitch, hit !submit. On YouTube, if you go to the description of the live, this should be the link that is present right there. You can just tap into that. If you are on, and I'll double check really quick for you, Mega Ultra, I'll go on another tab and just see if it's working. And if you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on that link right there, and you'll see everything that you need to know. Okay, let me double check this link really quick. I do want to make sure that that's working for everybody. So give me just one moment. I'm going to hop out of this really quick and just double check. So give me just 1 second. How can I? Super catchy, man. What a great melody. And then we got Creole in the building. How can I do? All right, let me pull it up real quick. Let's see. So I clicked on it. So let me go back. Real quick. So where's my camera? There we go. Okay, so if you're underneath the focus. If you go underneath the live stream right there, you see where it says submit your track here. Click on submit your track here, and that will click on that, open it up, and it takes you straight to here. Submit to the Track Talk live stream. And then that's all of the details are right there. So just scroll down there. Let me see. There in the middle right there. You scroll down a little bit. Whoops, focus. Scroll down. It says tracktalksubmission@gmail.com. You can see that where to send that there. You scroll down a little bit farther and you'll see all of the details to submit right underneath there for the credit. So yeah, just follow that lead. It's right there. I double checked everything and it should be live, going in the right direction. And then everything should be free and clear. It should be good to go. Okay, let me double check some things here. We got Creole in the building. I was honestly struggling right before making that song, and the song made itself. Does that happen? Yeah, dude, 100%, 100%. There's so many songs that are, some songs take like like fine-tuned adjustments and a lot of like time and effort to like shape it and mold it into something that sounds somewhat coherent. And then some songs just happen. Some songs are like, it takes like 30 minutes and it's just like done. You just like start singing and the melodies come and all of the emotion flows, so on and so on. And some of those are really bad. They're really shitty and you got to really mold them afterwards. Some of them are perfect and they just flow creatively and they're the best song you've ever heard in your life. And you'll hear that about like major songs, like songs that are really well done. Some of them took 2 years to finalize and some of them literally happened in 30 minutes and they released it 2 days later. You know what I mean? Like that happens all the time. It happens all the time in the underground space as well as, of course, in the majors as well. So I just think that's why to me, it's just so necessary to just be authentic in the way that you communicate your expression creatively. Like it really just matters that you're authentic, because there's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Some things take a lot of work, some things I chip away at for a long time, and some things just happen, right? So if you're just open to the creative process leading you where it will, I think you'll be better off as a creative. You're not molding yourself into a method of creativity that doesn't sit right with you in that moment. You got to let things flow as they flow. I love that, Kimura. One more time for Kimura. You're amazing, man. I appreciate you. All right. Once again, if you want to submit, go to my link tree on my profile on TikTok, go to the description, hit the link on YouTube, or hit !submit on Twitch, right there in the chat, and you'll see the link pop up. We got King Creole in the building, so let me get this downloaded really quick. Do you like Charlie Puth? Yeah. I don't listen to a lot of his like music, like just on my own, like as a consumer, but I appreciate his talent. Like he's a genius prodigy at music. He's incredibly, incredibly talented. And I can recognize that whether or not I consume a lot of his music, but he's really, really talented. Victor's in the building. What's up, Victor? Welcome in. Thoughts on the Behringer Poly D? That guy right there at the top is one of my favorite synths that I own. I think it is probably one of the best synths that you can get for the price. This one I got here was an open box. It was like $530. For that price is not a lot cheaper than that. Just the only other things cheaper than that would be other smaller Behringer synths. For that price, it is a pretty phenomenal synthesizer. It's 4-note paraphonic. You get a chorus circuitry, distortion circuitry. You get a signal input as well that you can run a microphone or a guitar through it as well to add some other effects to that. It's beautiful. It's a fantastic synth. Build quality is pretty good too. Some people have other issues with noise. I've had no issues with noise. I've had it for I think a couple years now. Have had absolutely no issues. It also has an arpeggiator. It also has like a 64-step sequencer. It's fantastic. I think it's for under $600. I think it's probably one of the best synths out there. It's really, really, really fun to use. I like it a lot. And you get full-size keys. And it looks cool. Looks like a fake mini Moog, which is basically what it is. All right. Let's get into King Creole. All right, King Creole. Give me the details. I'm so excited to get into this track. Let's bring it back over here. I'm so excited to get into this track. This is an artist that I haven't heard in a long time, but I have heard a couple times before. He's immensely talented. Talk to me about this record, man. Let me see if there's any details here. Oh yeah, I got some details in the email. Let me run through those really quick. Song is called This Love. This is just only leveled, so this is not like a final mix and master. This is a leveled demo, looking for feedback on the approach to delivery, and then where you hear things going. Recorded in studio, pretty dry. So what we have here is not a engineered mix, it's a studio mix. So tracked in studio, balanced and leveled, but not necessarily like engineered for release yet, so that we can look at it from that perspective. Any other details you want me to know, drop it in the chat, man. I can't wait to break this down. I'm a fan. King Creole is great. So this is This Love by King Creole. Talk to me as well about production and your role in that as well, beyond just the vocals that I'm hearing. Is the house engineer. Cool.
time to blossom and grow.
Hey.
I can do better, baby, for sure. Believe me, I'm working. I know you're worth it. You can be my sun, my moon, my star, my everything. But what good is it if it's just a dream? If the promises and words don't mean a thing, if communication fails, we lose the game. We can work it out or walk away. We can choose to fight another day. Choose a different
Beautiful
path
vibrato,
to
man.
walk
Come on.
a better way. If the love is real, our hearts will surely stay. This love, this love, this love, this love, oh, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love. Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing.
Cool production too. I like it. It's a cool balance between some of the cinematic elements. It's nice.
Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing. This love. A dozen roses and kisses won't feel what's been missing if the love ain't real.
Hey.
Don't wait for heartbreak to realize you wasted your whole life hiding how you feel. You can be my sun, my moon, my star, my everything. But what good is it if it's just a dream? If the promises and words don't mean a thing. If communication fails, we lose the game. We can work it out or walk away. We can choose to fight another day. Choose a different path to walk a better way. But if the love is real, our hearts will surely stay. This love, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love. Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing. This love, giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing. This love, this love.
Cool structure, cool production. Your voice is awesome, man. Your voice is awesome. You know, give it up one time for the real King Creole. That song is called This Love. Your voice is just so engaging to listen to, man. It is like as soon as you start singing, I think a couple people said in the chat on TikTok, as soon as you start singing, it just grabs you, man. It just grabs you. You feel it. There's a lot of emoting in your performance, which I love a lot as well. I want to working on this for the EP. Beautiful. I can't wait. Let's dig into this a little bit. Let's mainly talk, I think, vocal structure. I'm assuming that's kind of the main thing that you want to dig into. Your voice is awesome. Structure is great. We'll dig into that a little bit as well. Let's run it from the top and let's get it going, man. This is This Love by King Creole. Amazing, man. If you're listening to this on any one of the platforms here, definitely make sure that you tap him with King Creole. He's incredibly talented. I believe you got music out on all platforms as well, but make sure you're following him on the different social platforms as well. You're going to want to stay in touch with what he's doing. He's doing some great things. All right, This Love by King Creole from the top. Let's run it. Music out everywhere. Beautiful. We talk about this all the time. I love the early introduction of the vocal. You're about 14 seconds in when that first vocal comes in. I think a lot of people just let it ring and they come in with their verse, and you lose all retention there. There's a million songs put on Spotify every week, probably 20 times that on all other platforms when you include YouTube and SoundCloud, stuff like that. There's so much volume of music. That's not counting instrumentals. Then when you have producers putting out 20 beats on BeatStars every day, it's an incredible. I mean, millions and millions and millions and millions of pieces of musical content created every single week. You got to get people's attention. So I always encourage people to grab people's attention early on in the structure of their song by introducing their vocal early. In any way, I don't care if you literally, it's the first 10 seconds of the song. I don't care if you just take a breath on the mic, or, you know, just literally sigh for a I don't care. It literally doesn't matter to me. You do an ad lib, you take a sample from your hook and you put it in the intro. Find a way to introduce your vocal within the first 15 seconds of the song so that people don't skip. For those of you who don't know, for most major DSPs, if you do not stream past 30 seconds, you don't get a stream. So I say this as an example all the time. This is specific to, I think, Apple and Spotify for sure. And I think most other DSPs, most other streaming platforms. If you don't get past 30 seconds as a consumer, it doesn't count as a stream, right? You can skip earlier than that and you'll never see it in your analytics, right? So you could have 1 million people stream your song for 28 seconds and then skip because they were bored. And you will see 0 streams and you'll see 0 cents from it, because we're only talking cents here. $0 from it, right? You could have millions of people do it and then all of them skip at 20 seconds and you'll never see anything from it. You'll think your song had 100 streams because that's all that anyone actually listened to it. You have to get past 30 seconds. So I highly recommend, because there's such a volume of information, musical information that people are taking in on a daily basis constantly, that if you are going to be putting out music, that you find a way. Like I said, in this case, King Creole does a great job. He has like a little portion of, I think, like the early part of his verse or part of the hook that he does here. You know the best of me, babe. He just has like an early vocal structure right there over the chord progression. And it's just an introduction to his vocal. It allows you to stay for a second. You're like, okay, I don't know who this artist is. They just came on my Spotify playlist. You know, I've never heard them before, so I'm going to hop in for a second. And I'm going to listen to it. If nothing happens for 25 seconds, in this case, it would probably be 25 seconds before the beat actually hits. If nothing happens there, I'm just hearing another like production. And that doesn't entice me. There's a lot of music I could be listening to, a lot of songs and artists I already know and love. A lot of people are just still listening to music that they liked 15 years ago. They're not even finding a lot of new stuff. So you got to convince them, right? You got to make yourself known in the structure of your music. So I highly encourage most people within the first 10 seconds, generally speaking, but for sure in the first 15 seconds, that you make your vocal known, either through a sample of your, like I said, sample of your chorus, a part of your verse, say, yeah, you know, clear your throat, sigh, you know, I don't know, take a deep breath. That's literally why you'll hear a lot of artists just, and then they'll just like say some random bullshit in the first part of their song just to get your attention. Let them know you are there, that they're not just going to hear another random beat, another random song. Let them know that there is a serious artist, a vocalist, a songwriter, a rapper right there in front. And just make yourself known, make your presence known on the track, right? Or you can literally just start right away and just, and you start like right off the bat of the song. Immediately there's vocal structure and you're going straight into the verse. It's just a reverse reverb and boom, you're starting. So anyways, a little bit of a tangent there. Introduce yourself earlier in your songs. It will massively, massively improve the retention on your records. And just the commercial compatibility with what people are looking for in their records, the playlist compatibility, stuff like that. All right. Let's get into it. I'm ranting far too much. Fool on a Hill, welcome into the live stream. Appreciate you being here. Y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing out the live.
Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing, this love, giving you the best of me, my baby.
Good introduction to a first hook too. I like that.
Amazing, this love. Things ain't been perfect lately, I know. Love, it takes time to blossom and grow. I can do better, baby, for sure. Believe me, I'm working. I know you're worth it. You can be my sun, my moon, my star, my everything. But what good is it if it's just a dream? If the promises and words don't mean a thing, if communication.
What's up, Justin? Welcome in, man. Good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing.
Work it out, walk away. We can choose to fight another day. Choose a different path to walk, a better way. If the love is real, our hearts will surely stay. This love.
Okay, so now I want to listen for structure. So this is the big thing that I want to kind of look for now, because you do have a really strong early hook. I'm going to go back to that and then skip back to 1:30. The thing I worry about structurally is that this feels very drawn out from the verse structure, and then having largely like 2 full hooks almost, and then long verses, and then basically 2 full hooks. I think it could potentially, I'm not saying it's like necessarily happen because I know this already isn't balanced and stuff. It could potentially feel a bit run on after a while. I want to hear the first hook again, because that's a really engaging hook. And I like this tag here. The first love, first love, first love. I love that. That's really nice. So let me hear this really quick. Like this is a gold hook. The melodic structure, the energy of it, I like it a lot. This is well structured. Best to me now, baby. This love. Like that to me is gold. So I'm kind of looking for, I'm gonna go back over here.
All the way, we can choose to fight another day. Choose a different path to walk, a better way. The love is real, our hearts will surely stay.
And then I'm kind of curious. Brant Anthony, welcome in. I'm kind of curious here if we save this. Okay, let me preface this too. This is definitely going to stay. Wait, so this is definitely going to stay this part. This part is definitely going to stay this part. Is that what you're saying? I want to make sure I'm processing correctly. The bridge is in an odd place. Let me hear. Let me listen for the production here too. Let me.
If communication fails, we lose the game. We can work it out. Hearts will surely stay. This love, this love, this love, this love. Oh, this love, this love, this love, this love, this love. Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a clear production structure. Just because of where they put. Yeah. Because of where Belle, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Where they put their like dynamic drops. I'm gonna skip around here. I'm trying to listen for the structure here.
This to me, my baby. Missing if the love ain't real. Don't wait for heartbreak to realize you wasted your whole life hiding how you feel. You did it, it's just a dream. It didn't work it out. Love is real, our hearts will sure.
Because then this is technically the same dynamic as the start of your second verse. Interesting. Okay.
This love. Giving you the best of me, my baby. Amazing. This love.
Okay, let me go back to the 90-second mark, and I'll listen from that perspective. The dynamic structure of the production is definitely interesting. It's not very clear cut with where you're like, not on your end, not on the writing end. You did a great job of structuring your vocal to fit what happens to be there for the production, but it does. Derek, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. I think having that double hook there, it does make it feel a bit drawn out. I'm hearing amazing things. I'm hearing great energy in the vocal performance, great harmonies. They need to be split. They need to be opened up, the panning and whatever like that just needs to be mixed. So I'm not worried about that. This is just a balanced mix. I'm not too worried about that at all. It's going to sound great once it's balanced out. So I'm just listening for like my interest to the song. That's kind of what I'm listening for is like, am I able to like, are you able to like maintain my attention even though you're doing amazing things? Like your voice is awesome. Your structure is great based on the production that's in front of you. But I just think that with how long these verses are, I feel like it ends up feeling pretty drawn out. And as much as I love what you're doing, I can start to sense my energy for the song subdue a little bit. And of course, that's just my honest opinion based on you doing really cool stuff. And that's the last thing you want to happen is people to be like, ooh, this is a great vocal. The beat hits hard. And then 90 seconds in, you kind of tune out a little bit. And that to me, that 90 seconds in little pocket that we're listening for right here is the position that people will be in where they'll decide if this is like playlisted or is it Yeah. I feel I'm right on board with you, man. I'm right on board with you. It's like right here at 90 seconds when it goes into that first hook again. I think that's the part where people are like deciding, do I add this to the playlist? Do I not? Or was it a good first listen and they move on with their day and it goes to the next track? That's the last thing we want. We want it added. We want it liked and libraried and playlisted, right? So I am kind of curious. So this love gold hook, that needs to be in there. It needs to be there prominent when it's the full beat. My intuition is kind of telling me that I would get into some beat chopping here. Are you working off a 2-track or multi-track? Let me know that really quick as well. If you're working off the 2-track, it's a little bit more complex because it kind of depends on how easily you're able to crossfade and get this really cohesive. You have the multi, beautiful. I would, here's my thought. I would try to structure this, Isaiah, welcome in. I would try to structure this a little bit more typically. I know that sounds boring, but in my opinion, I would start with your strong hook. Because you do start with a great strong hook there at the beginning. Start with a strong hook, move to your first verse, keep your melodic structure there. It's beautiful. Go into your next, skip that part. So pull out the harmony structure there in the middle, and I'll tell you where you can put that later. Go straight into a hook again. So typical, a hook, intro, you have your verse, your hook, a verse, hook, and then maybe even outro with that harmony structure as a stack with ad libs at the end that give you some energy over it. So let me go to this harmony structure here really quick. That to me is more cohesive. It might also save you like 40 seconds. Side benefit. It might cut out some, in songwriting, as you'd call it, cut the fat in the middle. It might cut out some fat in the middle of the song that takes you from 3:47 to 3:12. That's a bit more playlistable. That's a little bit more palatable. That's more streamable. That's more radio ready. Typically, for radio and most playlist requirements, you usually want to be under 3 minutes. That might be too hard for a song at this BPM and the amount of structure you have for the verses, but we can get it closer. We can make it more palatable. Not that you have to like cut down and surgically remove stuff from songs all the time, but it's not what it's all about. I want to maintain the creativity and authenticity more than anything, but I think we can polish this a little bit. Let me get into this right here. Like I'm kind of curious how this would fit on an outro. So you go strong hook, strong verse, strong hook, and then you do one last hook at the end. So like right here at the end. Now, baby. Yeah. Get this going. This love is giving you the best of me now, baby. Ad libs, it's just like a climax of this love, and then bring it down into right here. This love, no, this love. Bring it down like just to lower some of the lower elements. You can trim it down, maybe cut some more of the instrumentation just at the end. This love, oh, this love. And you end just on that part. For one, what I like about it, you save like 40 seconds in the song. You compartmentalize it better. The beat is more consistent. You go hook, you go verse, you go hook, you go verse, and you have your finalized hook. And then on the outro, this lives only in that moment, right? It's not like giving away too much of a good thing where it's like you're hearing all of your good things happening over the whole entire song, and it doesn't leave anything to an imagination. It's kind of the same format and the same structure all the way through, and there's like almost too much repetition. In this case, you save that little moment that's kind of intimate. It's a little more jazzy and soulful. You have the stacks of harmonies. You have a chance to really like stack right there and do some cool ad libs and vocal runs at the very end right there. You could even double that up, even if you want to make it longer again and it's still a 4-minute song, who cares? Doubled up there at the end, and you just bring it down to like a choir and just the piano, just this love, dun, 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 dun. And you go crazy right there. You can make it your own inventive thing right there. That to me, I'm rambling, and I said a lot. Hopefully half of that made a little bit of sense. That to me structurally works better than what yeah, I appreciate. That's why I like this guy. I appreciate you, man. It's love. Nope, no pun intended. I swear, no pun intended. It's love. I appreciate you so much. That to me makes a lot more sense. Because what I'm running into, sorry, it felt so cheesy and I didn't mean it to. What I'm running into is liking everything I'm hearing about your performance and about your vocal tone, the aesthetic of the song. The production's really cool. It hits heavy when it needs to, but also feels light and vulnerable where it needs to. Everything I hear, I like, but there's structural things that are making my energy die down. So if I like everything that I'm hearing sonically, but the structure is making my energy kind of leave a little bit, then that's what needs to be addressed for me personally speaking, right? So just from how I'm listening to the song, and that's going to be different, consumer to consumer, producer to producer, right? That's what I'm listening for, because I think your vocal is awesome. I think your performance is great. It just needs to be balanced, right? I want those stacks to be wide. I want them to be, really dynamic. I want your ad libs to really cut through. Production sounds great. It's got a cool balance on it already, but I would get into some chopping of the multi-track here, get into some chopping and just restructure it, save that moment for the end of the song. You could even fade it out, classic 90s fade, right? Just fade it out at the end while you're still going, like keep looping on that "this love" part at the very end with the harmonies and just like fade it out, potentially save yourself a little bit of time. I wouldn't really worry about that too much. It's already a little bit of a longer song, so I wouldn't care about that too much, but that to me like dramatically changes the way I feel about this song. Second to that is I get your hook sooner. Right? So like what's even better is as soon as you finish your great verse, like as soon as you finish like the end of that, you do your first hook, you hit your first verse here, you hit your ending notes, your kind of climax to that verse, and we're right back into, "Do you know a piece of me now, baby?" We're right back there. My energy stays so much higher, right? Like going straight from that verse and then not bringing it down to that like bridge, that pre right there, going straight back into the beat again and the hook again right there, cutting that lower part of the beat out. My energy is so much higher. Like, I don't know, like there's so much more movement to the track and you're saving that moment for later on. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm saying a lot. Dude, of course, dude, anytime. I know I can tend to ramble a little bit. I can tend to loop on what I'm saying. That to me fixes a lot and makes me take me as a producer and engineer like out of the picture. Me as a consumer of your music, that makes me enjoy it a lot more. It makes me like genuinely engage with your song a lot more, and my energy doesn't leave at all. So y'all, please show some love to the family. That is the real King Creole. You can find his music on all platforms, and I highly encourage you to do so. He is as you heard, a very talented vocalist, a very talented writer. There's so much emotion and soul and energy behind your performances, man. I love it so much. I love it so much, which is why I'm honing in on these things. You're very talented. I love what you do, man. That's the family right there. So please show some love to King Creole. Follow him on all platforms. Go stream his music. He does have plenty of released music. He performs. He's crazy. He's amazing. So definitely show some love. Quick reminder, just like Libby said, that all of these, we're actually live on YouTube right now. So I see a couple of people over there. We're live on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok right now. So if you are, he's like, "Hey, you up?" He's gonna get a "you up" call right now to head straight back to the studio. But if you're on TikTok or Twitch, these VODs are all saved. They're saved to Twitch for 2 weeks, but they're saved indefinitely on YouTube, where you can go find the episode. In this case, this is episode 8, I believe, that this VOD is going to be. So on YouTube, you can just find episode 8 and be like, "Oh, what were we talking about?" And just go find your song and go, break it down from there. So you don't have to worry about like remembering everything. You can go back and as soon as the live is over, the VOD will be right there. You can go to episode 8. It'll be saved in a playlist. You'll be ready to go. Also, I will be like cutting it down as well. So not every breakdown, because we get a lot of consultations, we get a lot of breakdowns. It'll be chaos for me. But I'm also choosing like select breakdowns and certain ones where I want to showcase something specifically, and creating fresh YouTube videos of that. So, in this case, it'd be like King Creole. I would create a separate YouTube video just on King Creole's breakdown and showcase that whole entire consultation on YouTube. So you can find just those sometimes as well. I did one the other day for 2 tracks. I'll probably do another one from this live for at least like one of them, because I do a lot of different ones, but you can find a bit more detail there. Let's keep it going. Quick reminder, if you would like to submit, if you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link tree. If you're on YouTube, go to my description, click on the link. If you're on Twitch, hit !submit. And you'll see everything that you need. Okay, I'm tired. I'm sweating too. Why is it so hot? I need to turn that. Why is it so hot in here? It's these lights. It's these blinding Christmas lights in here. Okay, let's, we're true creatives 100%. Okay, let's get it. Shout out to Creole one more time. Let me see who I have next. I think I have, let me double check a couple things here. I'm expecting a snow series, how to rein in the ADH chaos. But I need one for myself, goodness gracious. It's chaos over here, trust. All right, let's see. Shout out to you, man. I genuinely appreciate you so much, man, and respect what you do so much. You're a talent, man, for sure. All right, let's get into it. We got snow in the building. Let me double check this over here. Let's dive in. Open the door. I know, but then the sound is crazy and my engineer brain won't let me do it. I can't turn on the fan though, because I did turn off the AC in here when it was hotter today. Give me, it may be loud. I got you. Thanks for the heads up. Let me get yours downloaded real quick. Let's get it downloaded real quick. And then, oh, we got notes. I love notes. Let me get it downloaded. Give me 2 seconds. A Song of Plague. Let's go. Second version 11 we've gotten today. We got a lot of revisions in today's live stream, which is great. Engineer brain. Yeah, I'm like, I can't, with my I feel like such an idiot. With my engineer brain, I could never bring myself to open the door sonically speaking. That sounds so stupid. I genuinely don't mean to be that way, but it's whatever. I'm just whatever. I can't even correct myself at this point. I'm going to turn on the fan. I'll be right back. Wait, hold on. I think I actually turned on another light too. All right. Hold on. I don't want this on. No, so catchy, King Creole. You're a beast. What a track. There we go. We don't need all that. Going on. So catchy. All right, y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing out the live. I appreciate y'all hopping in. I see y'all on Twitch, on YouTube. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into some more music. We have another consultation. This is the family. Once again, we got the family in here today, and I love that. Anytime we get a chance to hear what y'all are working on. I've got it on. Let's see. I've got it on Dropbox here. Thank you so much. All right, we got our meat sticks. We're ready for the next hour of music. Shout out to Chomps. Sponsor me, Chomps. Sponsor me. We love you, and I eat like 2 of you daily. All right, let's get into it. This is Eversnow. The song is called A Song of Plague. It sounds dark and mysterious. Let's we always gotta, please, someone, anybody sponsor me. All right, no, not anybody. I have values. Song of Plague version 11, let's go, is meant to follow the feeling of the Black Death in classical format. The emotions to draw the imagination, to be discordant at times, to give that sense of looming unease you can't escape. Goth AF, I know. I was like, hey, I need to like get my emo hair down. All right, like, where's my straightener? Mostly focusing on mix and open to suggestions, but so far mostly going for the vibe of interpretation to get lost in versus clear scenes. Okay, got you. The key is D minor. Let's go. BPM 147, 3/8. Let's go. VST contact libraries, which was over to the bass and violins. Just reading some details here. Yamaha CFX piano. Thanks for all your help. Helios, and I love y'all. We love y'all too. Y'all are amazing, beautiful people. Put on my play class. Right. All right. Let's get into it. Okay. So structurally speaking, talk to me about, is this a Helios production? Or is this a Snow production? Or is this something else? Let me know. Give me some of the details of what. This is all Snow. Okay, beautiful. Let's go, Eversnow. All right, let's run it. This is A Song of Plague by Eversnow, who's fairly fresh, mind you, pretty fresh to producing, but she's been working her ass off at it. So I love this. Let's get into it. Is there vocal structure to this? I mean, I'll hear it in 3 seconds, but talk to me about some of that too. Just music. Got you. Definitely. Let's go, Snow. Same. I'm glad too. But love that. Got you, Brian. I agree. There's a little background melody there I really like. Pull up some strings. I like it, it's pretty. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all, give it up one time for Ever Snow. Like, how long have you been producing? Like a couple, like 3 months? 2 or 3 months, Ever Snow, something like that. I think is it about the amount of time that you've been producing? But please show some love, y'all, to the family. Rage of Helios, Ever Snow. We love y'all, adore y'all. Y'all are amazing. Started roughly in June. So pretty fresh. You know, we're 5 months out, you know, from when Snow just started producing and building out these like cinematic tracks. More seriously, excuse me, probably like September. I'm just a fan of when people start doing this. So for one, just taking production into their own hands, but also just finding fresh forms of creative expression within like something that you already do, like in music, someone who's already pursuing music. I am always trying to do that. And it's not even to like flex and just like have other stuff. I constantly need new inspiration and new motivations to like learning crafts and improving its skills and stuff like that. So whether it's like trying to learn a new instrument or a new version of an instrument or new plugins, new software, new tuning techniques, whatever it is, like new scales, whatever, having like fresh motivation creatively is one of the best ways to stay sharp as a creative in any form, right? It's like if you're a painter, finding different modalities, different methods to painting, different materials, different brushes, whatever. It's like whatever it may be, finding different methodologies to create are just so valuable. So I love this. Snow's been writing plugins, whatever it may be, right? Snow has been a poet and a writer and so many different creative things that she's done. A vocalist, she's done so many different things that she's worked at, and so I love that you're just expanding on that and you're building skills in all these different areas because they're all valuable. They're all valuable things to hold. Okay, let's run this from the top. I'm gonna pull up. There's some strings. It also has a piano, which I do not want in the. Okay. We got strings. Let's start up here. Let's get into some of the. Well, I don't need to do that yet. Let's run it from the top. I'm gonna dive into a couple little level things that we can figure out. Some automation things we can figure out, and see how we can bring some level of clarity. So I would approach this similar to what we were talking about with Kimura's track earlier. I think a lot of y'all weren't here for, but on Kimura's track earlier, where if everything's forward and everything is kind of like loud and really full dynamically, then you do lose some contrast and you lose some emotion by everything being so forward. Even if there's gaps in the processing and there's, excuse me, I'm choking on a meat stick. Pause. Even if there's like gaps in processing and gaps in your production structure, Senko, so good to see you, man. It's good to see that name pop up. How you doing? I think it can be beneficial to make sure that there's more dynamic range. I would do most of that through your automation and then which tracks you choose to put forward or back. So let's dig into that briefly. I saw Derek Senna's name pop up in the chat. It's so good to see you, man. I appreciate you hopping in. Yes. Okay, let's run it back. I know we're seeing Hamnet tomorrow. What's up, man? It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you well. We got some legends in the building today. Some fantastic music, y'all. All right, let's run. And then quick reminder, y'all, that we are live on YouTube and Twitch as well. If you want the full spread. I do like that you start full here. Don't mind that one bit. You know, I just think once you start full, there needs to be some restraint that gives the fullness purpose. If you're going to start really full, then we need some moments of kind of hyper intimacy to make it matter that the fullness exists. That contrast is, I think, really important to have. I mean, this is big sounding. It's, you know, the mix on it, I don't mind. It's really full. Cello sounds beautiful. like even some of the movement here, I don't necessarily mind. There's something now. I remember in the email too. You're talking about a kind of a lack of structure, so I'm trying to listen from that perspective as well, because there's things that every producer would do differently. So I'm trying to listen from the perspective where you don't want this to be too rigid, you don't want it to be too segmented or too polished, right? You kind of are intending to have some overlap, some tension, some dissonance, some even like inherent muddiness to create the vibe, the chaos that you're looking for, right? So I want to be aware of that while I also dissect what still needs like practical clarity versus like stylistic clarity, because they're kind of two different things to me, right? Mud in the mix is different than tension between chords, and I want to distinguish those distinguish between those two things as much as I can. So I don't mind that there's a little bit of overlap here because it's the intention of the artist in this case. What I would do then, you build this up, you build up these high dynamics, you push that cello forward, and then I would shoot right here. And you hear how all of this still feels very forward. So all of the low end leaves and everything's really like prominent, but it still feels very like na, 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 na. It's still very forward and in your face. So you don't ever really get a reprieve from the energy. So even when there's like structurally not as many things happening, there's not as much low end elements, you've cut like 3 of the cellos out, there's still a lot kind of coming at you straight away. I would love for that, like all the air to get kind of sucked out of the room. Let me, I'm rolling over my headphones. Give me a sec. I'm rolling over my headphone cable here and unplugged. So one of the things that that was my struggle, knowing when to dial back. So what I would do is just really, Wavelength, welcome in. I would really listen for the structure and go back to what the scene is, right? What the score is and what a song of plague is, because you're so good at that. Like, look at this like a book, right? And you turn the page and this thing is happening. What we talk about this, fairly often. What's up, Wavelength? Good to see you, man. We talk about this pretty often, but especially if you're scoring, especially if you're building out like a cinematic set like this, what's happening, and then how can you create that space and create that dynamic within your song structure? So like one of the things is like you have this really big push where the energy is super high. I'm going to make up some chords here, not necessarily in kind of what you're doing. So I know it's D minor based on your first couple chords, but I'll just make it up from there. And you have this all built up. And it pulls back a lot, right? So I'm making up what's happening here, right? But if you're starting here and you have all this, and there's like a lot of energy behind it, then you build up all this energy, and again, you have overlapping tracks. You can like blend those a little bit better. But bringing it just back even here. And you can start to introduce it a little bit more. And you're back. All of that, like, oh, I forgot to put up the dot. Damn it. There you go. There it was. But we get the idea, right? Where it's like all of that push and pull of having all of that energy. That's where, like, to me, the magic of cinematic scoring and orchestral music is and symphonies is. It's in the real, I mean, of course, in the real space of like actual cellists, violinists, and violas and stuff like that, like all of this different instrumentation that you're emulating here. The magic of it is in all of that tension, that push and the pull, the swells of energy, and then the restraint and the intimacy. All of that to me is what makes it feel so emotional and so engaging to listen to. So if it always, in this context, in the context of your record here, if this constantly feels really forward as opposed to bringing these dynamics back and having, it just feels so natural and so warm, right? As opposed to it being fully on. So what I want you, practically speaking, right? So there's the philosophy, there's the idea, right? We need that dynamic range, and we need to pull back a little bit. I would choose your moments where you feel like you're emptying out your mix a little bit, like in this little pocket here. And this is, I have a string right here. You have an isolated cello. I would just take all of that velocity. I'm typically using, like in this case, if I switch to my DAW here, you can see the automation that I have right here. That is, I'm using my modulation wheel on my MIDI controller here, and you can see it move. I'm using that to kind of control it. You can automate all of those levels. Of course, I think you have done some in whatever DAW you're using, right? So I would get in there, and when you have those moments of the cello moving, you hear how much more dynamic that sounds because you're making it feel more intimate and more vibrant, and then pushing it a little bit and pulling it a little bit. Those automations, just by taste, by ear, for what you're doing here is going to be really important. But I would just find a couple spots here in this little middle section, being one of them, where you back off a lot and you let it be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more vulnerable, and then you move outside of that whenever you want to bring up the dynamics again. You just automate those velocities. You automate, in this case, the dynamic. I'm in Spitfire, but with the VSTs you listed, use your automation curves there with your dynamic range to push the emotion forward and pull it back as you see fit. That's up to where you see fit, is more up to you. This is a good section for that, I think. And then if you do that and you make it feel really small and tight and isolated, then when you hit this next section here and we build it up again, all that comes in, that feels so much more impactful when you go from that feels very, very, very cinematic and very dramatic. And it means even more that you go there because of the restraint that you held previous to that. So that would be the philosophy I would carry. Practically what that looks like is automation of your dynamics within the VST, and within like the different criteria there of like amplitude. It looks different for plugin to plugin. Like in this case, they list it as, this is expression right here is what they call it. It's like the technique that they're using, how hard they're digging into the strings. You can automate that. And on this side, it's dynamic. So it's going to be more amplitude focused. That's going to look different VST to VST. That's what it looks like in Spitfire. And you can kind of find what that looks like for you in the VSTs that you're using. But that's what I would look for. Practically speaking, it looks like automation. And then of course, philosophically speaking, it's you're really engaging with the emotion of the scene that you're setting your music in, and making sure that whatever you do automation wise and structurally within your production matches that. So it's like all of a sudden they're falling in love, and then everything swells forward, or like whatever it may be, right? And then all of a sudden they're walking away into the distance, and everything pulls back, and it's just, maybe like, they're falling in love and it's crazy and everything's big. And then they're walking away in the distance, right? Whatever it may be. And you let it tail. So I think you can decide based on what you want for your track, what that looks like, and find those moments in your track. Okay, let's move a little bit further. This is big. I like it. It's strong. doing a better job too, even though I know there's some intentional chaos here. You're doing a better job of following progression in the low end. I know you've worked a lot at that, so it's sounding better to me. Okay, so same here. I'm looking at kind of the dynamics of what I'm so proud of y'all. Seriously, so proud of y'all. Helios and Snow, y'all are awesome. Looking at like your waveform here on the track that I'm looking at on Dropbox, you have this big dynamic. Low end is present. Build it up. Push all those dynamics forward, and again, you get that big swell of you're starting here, and you have. And then you let off the gas again. I see kind of drops down here. And I would just isolate that a little bit. Bring it back. So you're here. Give me 1 second. Let me push this forward a tad. And give this a little bit more swell here. So like you have that opportunity. There's similar to your melody that you hold here, but again, it's very, very forward. And then back off, right? So you have all this, you know. Bring down the dynamics. And then swell up again, right? So right after this big buildup right here, and then start to pull back here. So would you hear there's like the F right there. And again, in this case, you're using an isolated cello. But you're hitting the F, pull back a little bit, reintroduce your chords again. Automate that, you know, the dynamics back again, and then you'll see everything that you kind of need. Everything will kind of open up a little bit for you, so it doesn't all feel muddy and all feel forward. Little details like that. Exactly what Snow said. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, go to my profile, click on the link, follow the steps there. We'll get you on the board, man. So this is another great pocket where I think you can pull back some of the energy, create some vulnerability in the structure there. What's up, Night Slasher? Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Just finished D&D. Nice. All right, let me move forward here a little bit. Hopefully this helps, Snow. Hopefully this feels like a good step forward as far as how you are processing this. I think what you're doing is feeling more and more mature and more established every time that I hear from production from you. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for your future with this stuff because I feel, especially working with Helios too, because Helios is so good in the genre and so good with like dramatic cinematic scores and stuff like that. I think that that's a really, really good balance for y'all, having the desire for spontaneity and some like controlled chaos on your end, and then knowing someone who knows how to create like EDM and like powerful cinematic structures, and finding a balance between those different things to have somewhat of a structure while still feeling very Snow. You know what I mean? I know. We need to learn. We need to figure it out. I'm so excited, Snow. I'm so excited. See, once again, that cello, full on. It's really, really like, I mean, it sounds good. You know, like, you know, what I'm hearing sounds good, but again, very forward, very high velocity, very high amplitude, as opposed to feeling. And then you back off like that. That's the natural vocal movement is what you want out of a cello. I think it's what, to me, maybe I'm realizing this for the first time now, I don't know. But I think one of the reasons why I love cello so much is it feels very human, right? As an instrument, what it does, the natural vibrato that it has, to me, feels very like human expression. And so try to mirror that in the way that you're playing, because like it's not very often, especially in the context of where you're at dynamically in the production right now, that you would be piano, it would be very forward. It would be, you know, it would have that natural ebb and flow that you would get from a vocal. And so I think that's what I would try to mirror in your automation there too. Same thing through all of this. Pete Brave, welcome in. And there's the piano in the background there. What the piano's doing, there's another melody that I liked in there. I would probably keep the piano where it's at. I think if you go too forward with it, it's going to sound too chaotic to me, a little bit too muddy for me, because it's doing a lot of different things than the strings are doing. And so far, my brain can somewhat palette the controlled chaos and the overlap that's there. But I think if you push that piano forward anymore, it's going to be too much in my brain. It's just then going to sound noisy. And that's going to be tougher, I think, for most people to palette. So I would probably keep it where it's at, just to maintain some level of clarity and some level of simplicity. Yeah, that makes sense. That it felt louder when I felt chaotic when I had it louder earlier. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. It's like, I like that it's there. It plays its role well, but it does feel a little bit overwhelming if you push it too far. I do like, Jesus, what's going on there? What in the world just happened there? I was playing Pro Tools. What the hell? All right. Sorry about that. There's a little bit of a plot twist there. I like the idea. Yeah, I was like, all of a sudden, it just randomly started playing Pro Tools when I hit pause because it wasn't clicked on the email. My bad. In the section down here, I do like that you sustain that note at the end there and just hold and push forward. It's all dun 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 dun, randomly playing some like random synthwave track. But I like that you hold the sustained note there. What I would do, just like we were talking about earlier, if I go back to the strings here, I would start at a lower automation point and move to the climax there. So you have this beautiful like last ending chord, and you're kind of here. And then I know, literally, I just like randomly play something on any Pro Tools session and it's synths. Having that ending of like, you do your last chord and then push it forward. And that's just like a beautiful resolve to everything that you had right before, right? You already have some of that. It already kind of exists there, but maybe a little bit less intentional. So polish that up so you really feel that everything points towards that kind of climactic ending right there at the end. And you'll be good to go. Y'all show some love to Ever Snow. This was produced and balanced by Ever Snow. We love y'all so much. Y'all are amazing. Appreciate what y'all do so exactly. Clear resolution, full resolve at the end. There's no question that this is it. The scene is done, and that part of the story is over. Show some love to Ever Snow. Show some love. Raise your Helios. I appreciate you being here, being by our side through this as well, man. Y'all are such a great support system for each other. And then musically, I feel like y'all are doing some really interesting and really creative things. So thank you so much for sending this in. I really, yeah, I would, exactly, just like what you just said, Snow. I would copy and paste this advice to most of your cinematic productions, and keep in mind the dynamic range. Keep in mind what needs to be forward, what needs to be back, that only you can truly decide that. I can't really tell you what should or shouldn't. I can hear what you had here and what I think you could kind of bias more towards. Like, you had some kind of quiet moments, go more vulnerable with those. Like, you had some big moments, push it like crazy, right? I can kind of tell you how to lean with your creativity, but I only you can be like, this part I want to be emotional and quiet and sustained, and then bias your production structure towards that, if that makes sense. Go, give it up one more time for the family. There's like 20. I get on the first try. So digging into the automation a little bit more, you got a lot of tracks you get to do that with. So that's fun. Let's see where we're at. I believe we got Woo. Let me know, or what am I saying? Woo. Thank you for hopping into the live stream is what I'm trying to say. I saw you hop in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all hopping in on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Y'all are amazing. The music's been so fun today. It's been a great live stream. We've been on for over 2 hours. We're going to keep moving through some music here. We have, let's see, let me pull up my list here really quick. We've got Brian in the building. Brian Nicholson. Hop in the chat. Same, right back to y'all, Ever Snow. We love and appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are such an important part of our community, and just we feel just like friends with y'all. So it means so much. Y'all are just good people, and we love and adore y'all. All right, let's see. Wavelength, I do have your email. Let me double check a couple things here. Hey, good night to y'all. Good night to y'all as well. Appreciate you so much. There's Brian. I see Brian. And then Wavelength, I have your email. I'm just waiting. Got you. No, I got you, Wavy. It just came in. I literally just saw it. I got you. You're set. All right, let me get you up on the board as well. Let me throw up the line here for a second. Let's close that. Let me update this. It's 11:42. It's 11:42. Why does that sound like a song? I don't think it is, but should be. 11:42. What am I doing? We got Wavelength in the building. All right, let's go Wave. I got you. I got you. All right, we got Brian in the building. Let's go, Brian. Let's open up the tracks here and let's keep it moving. It's getting to that point where my words are not working. This is called Ocean Springs by Brian Nicholson. Brian, I've heard so much of your music. So talk to me through any updates to what you are doing for this record. Let the chat know as well the role that you play, because not everybody knows what you do, the role that you play in the structure of your music. Okay, let me double check. I think I see the email that just came through. So let me double check for you. Night Slasher. It's the Night Slasher. Sorry, guys. It's getting late. Got you. Thank you so much, man. Let me get you on the board as well. I appreciate you so much. We've got Joseph. And then, Joseph, I need to get you... I'm going to get rolling with your track, too. I need to update some things and send them to you. All right. Joseph, 15. Beautiful. Boom. Boom. Well, all right. Brian, let's get into it. This is called Ocean Spring by Brian. I did the writing, though there's a lot of live saxophone on this track. Hold on. It's moving too fast. That the audio engineer recorded based on my MIDI files. Okay, nice. I also sang, and the audio engineer added some of his own vocals for the harmonies, and I dig them. Okay, beautiful. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I got all those details. Okay, line should be updated. Let me throw it up for 3 seconds here. We got Brian, we got Wavelength, we got Joseph right here in the chat, ready to go. Quick reminder that I'm going to close up the line here probably in just a little bit. But if you do want to submit, go to, if you're on Twitch, hit ! Submit. If you're on YouTube, go to my description for the live stream. If you are on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link. You'll see everything that you need to submit. These are 20 to 30 minute long form consultations. I'm spending way too much time on these tracks, but I'm trying to be concise. It doesn't work. My brain doesn't do it. It's just the way that it is. But hopefully that's to y'all's benefit. We're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes breaking down these tracks, getting into the mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song structure. We're going to get a really full, long form look at the structure of your music and what you're doing creatively to hopefully offer some tools, tips, some professional feedback on the structure and give you some actionable feedback to help you improve the quality of your music. If that's interesting to you, you can find it on all of those different details. Send the thing on Discord. I can talk about it a bit when I'm up. That'll be a good time. Are you able to send it to the email, Night Slasher? Because I don't have Discord on here right now. I don't believe. Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes or an hour each. Yeah, if that's possible. If not, I can try to figure it out. If you can send it to the Track Talk email, the Track Talk submission email, that would be helpful. All right, Brian Nicholson, Ocean Springs. Let's get it. I'm pretty much right at 30 minutes apiece today, so I'm doing pretty good.
Let me sleep in. It's alright, there's a lot of life to live. Now inside I forget my problems. So trees start storytelling. Yeah, here I lose all sense of time. Reminded only by the sunset of the Biloxi skyline. So why don't you and I go find a place to be? We'll both get ourselves a little taste of this Mississippi dream. Cause we're in Ocean Springs. As long as I got you, babe, I've got all I need. The sand, the stars, the water, laughing at your feet.
Love your voice, man.
Perfect place to be, Magnolia State. It feels like fate, and I never wanna leave. So why don't you
100%
and I go find a place to be? We'll both get ourselves a little taste of this Mississippi treat. 'Cause we're in Ocean Springs. As long as I've got you, babe, I've got all I need. The same as stars, the water, laughing at your feet. Here in Ocean Springs, oh yeah.
Come on, sax. I love saxophone so much. Shout out to the sax inventor. That's great. Love that melody right there too. Y'all show some love. Another one in the family. Hold on, what's playing here? Why is random music playing? I don't know what's going on SoundCloud and Pro Tools today. Y'all shout out to Brian Nicholson. That song is called Ocean Springs. Let's run it from the top and let's get into it. There's like one, I really like your vocal here. I love the melody structure. Sax sounds beautiful. And I actually really like the processing on your vocal too. It's got this kind of like room tone, a little like 50s, 60s feel to some of it as well. But I really like it. It's very warm, very inviting to listen to that I absolutely love. It's really, really nice to listen to. There's some other very small aspects of the mix on the production that I'm listening for. There's some stuff that I'm curious on if it's there and just needs to be pushed forward or if it needs to be added to fill out the mix a little bit more. Either one is fine, but let's dig into it a little bit. Once again, this is Brian Nicholson, Ocean Springs. Right now it is only on SoundCloud, but I'm assuming it's going to be released some point soon. So let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. Shout out to Brian though, man. It's a really, really cool record. These melodies are great too. So good. It's like immediately there's like a catchy hook element to the song. That's a great way to start the record too. Really, really quick. I don't know how the drums are tracked or what kind of control they have over the balance of the mix. For me personally, there's a lot of different stylistic choices you can make when tracking and recording drums. For me personally, the drums to me, I think kick is fine. Overhead seemed fine. Like positioning for cymbals and stuff like that seems good. Phase coherent, all that. Cohesive sounds good. The snare to me feels like really kind of like back and roomy a little bit. I feel like my brain wants it to have, based on the energy of the brass, the energy of the saxophone, the bass line, and your vocal texture. There's like a lot of energy in the mix, which I think is good. The production has a lot of elements to it that I think sound really nice. And then that snare feels very like kind of soft and back in the room a little bit, as opposed to kind of like forward and punchy and snappy. I wouldn't mind if that snare was maybe even like compressed a little bit more, like a mid attack, quick release, 1176, 4-1, push it till you're getting a little bit of snap and punch, and drive it forward a little bit so it doesn't feel too far back in the mix. It has a little bit more punch and drive to it, because everything else kind of does. Everything else has like a lot of energy and a lot of power to it. And then that feels a little bit soft to me. It's a little bit of a stylistic choice that not everyone has to like it that way, but personally speaking, I would love to feel that percussion a little bit more.
Roosters will let me sleep in. It's alright, there's a lot of
1170. That's what I typically like to use for. Do I have one on here right now? Yeah, right here. Boom. This is 1176. This is the compressor that I like to use. So for a snare, You know, again, there's a lot of different ways to process, but for what I'm talking about and creating a little bit more snap and punch, I would have like a little bit of a slower attack right here and a really fast release, so it recoils really quick. And then this is the ratio over here on this side. I'd go 4-1 at the bottom. You can go harsher, of course. And then, you know, just push the input to you're getting like, you know, this is different again. Drum to drum, song to song, track to track. But I like to aim on 1176. I like to get like 7 dB of reduction. I feel like 6-7 dB of reduction on the 1176 is like the sweet spot. It just shapes and colors the tone beautifully. So I'll push the input till I'm getting about 6 or 7 dB of reduction, and then kind of push it forward on the output as much as I need to till it is balanced in the mix. But yeah, that's the 1176. It's a specific kind of a plugin. You can do that on any plugin. But the 1176 is great for drums. I really like it on snares. I use it on drums quite a bit. Anyways, that's my quick little note there. Let's go a little bit further into it.
To live, now inside I forget my problems. So trees start storytelling. Yeah, here I lose all sense of.
Because I think, and this could also just be the balance that I'm hearing between the direct mic on the snare and the overheads. I might be just, it almost seems like maybe, and again, I don't have the session, I'm not really seeing this, but it almost seems like I'm hearing a lot more overhead in this like, you know, full stereo image of the drum than I'm hearing like the snap of the direct mic. That's why it feels like even when the snare hits, it's kind of like soft and washed, like there's some distance from it. And it's nice and wide, which again, in the structure of the mix is good, but I'm not hearing any of that like real direct snap. So maybe it could be as simple as pushing the direct, you know, again, without seeing the session, I don't know, but maybe it could be as simple as pushing the direct mic, compressing the direct mic and pushing it forward. Like maybe still use the 1176, but put it on the direct mic for the snare, like top mic for the snare, and maybe push it forward in the mix a little bit. But again, there's some nuance to that without seeing the session. But
Time reminded only by the go find a place to be. We'll both get ourselves a little
I love the bass too. Bass, it's cool. It's poppy. It's punchy. I like it. It's a really like interesting pattern over what the drums are playing, but I actually like it a lot. Dude, Brian, you're crushing it, man. You're crushing it. You're doing so many things really, really well. Again, we've had a lot of artists like this today, but you're a great writer, man. Like you write good songs. They're good structure. Like Libby said earlier, they're just fun to listen to. They're just engaging and they make you happy to listen to them. And I think that's a superpower to have in music. When people listen to your music and they just feel good, that's something great to have. So you should be very proud of the work you're putting in, man.
of this Mississippi tree, 'cause we're in Ocean Springs. I got you, babe, I've got all I need.
Okay, now this to me is honestly kind of the last thing that I feel like I'm missing. And it's like mids and like low mids in this record period. So here's kind of what I'm experiencing is I hear like the brightness and these like high mids and this resonance that's beautiful from all the brass and the brass in there. Saxophone sounds gorgeous. All of that sounds beautiful. Drums, I think they can be polished, but they sound good. Bass, I think sounds great. I think the bass is mixed really, really well. It's nice and you know, full and snappy in the mix. It doesn't sound muddy at all, which I love. And I actually really like the way your vocalist process. Your layers are great. All that sounds fantastic. I'm really not worried about that. The thing that I feel like I'm missing is like hearing the mids and like the progression of the song beyond the bass. I hear the lead elements from the brass and I hear the bass and then kind of like this void in the middle of the mix that I feel like is missing, just like a good electric guitar like a kind of a slightly overdriven but fairly clean electric guitar in the middle of the mix, double tracked left and right, just like little things like that, right? Where right now a lot of what I'm hearing feels very like linear, it's kind of down the middle, and I kind of just want that expanse to open up a little bit in the middle of the mix. I think a double track guitar would be beautiful right there. Kind of just following, I think it's in C, is it in C major? Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. That's the progression, right? So like kind of in that pocket there, just having an extra instrument in the middle. So let me go back to the hook. Like, so what I would do is keep it drier on the verse. So like keep it as is, just brass and bass and drums and vocal on the verse. And then going into the hook, add an element. I think it could be, honestly, it could be a synth. It could be like a Juno, like kind of brassy synth in the middle of the mix right there. It could be a Rhodes. It could be a piano. It could be an organ, actually might be really nice, like a Hammond B3 organ to just dun, with a nice, like, you know, Leslie rotary. Dun, 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 dun. That kind of fills in the middle there. It gives you a nice like wash with a kind of like rolling, you know, distorted tone. I think that could be really nice. The B3 is great for that. But even like, I'll just play piano so you can hear what that sounds like. And I just think it needs to fill out that tone there.
This Mississippi tree, 'cause we're in Ocean Springs. Long as I got you, babe, I got all I need. The sand, the stars, the water, nothing at your feet.
Can you hear how like the energy? I'm actually gonna I'm gonna actually add an organ. An organ to me is just like, why does that feel like it's just kind of the perfect missing three? We're gonna do a B3 organ. So just because that actually is feeling like it might be one of the little missing pieces here. Let's, you know. All right, let's go up an octave here. Yeah, take me out to the ball game. All right, let's nice. Let's push the rotary. And let's go a little bit faster. Let's go to the rotary here. I love it. I love organ. We need more organ. People, put more organs in your songs. All right, I love it. So there's something about it. Like as soon as you just hear as soon as you hear an organ, you just literally play different. Like I was literally just playing piano. I was like, yeah, just play that. That's literally what I just played on the piano. And as soon as like an organ comes on, it's like, yeah, just play. I just like. That's what you should add. I was like, I know there's something about organ that it brings it out of you. All right, that's enough of that. We don't need that. Don't do that. But close. Do close to that. I'm gonna push the drive a little bit, and I'll lower the preamp here a little bit. Okay, now let's go back to the track here. Let me open this up a little bit. Let me clear this, and I want to hear this hook a little bit. Let me push your volume up a bit.
'Cause we're in Ocean Springs. As long as I got you, babe, I got all I need. The sand, the stars, the water, nothing at your feet. Here in Ocean Springs, oh yeah. Eavesdrop over Holland stars, but it's close that all up front.
I'm gonna have too much fun. I'm sorry. Let me back it up a little bit. It's too much fun.
A little taste of this Mississippi tree, 'cause we're in Ocean Springs. As long as I got you, babe, I got all I need. The sand, the stars, the water, nothing at your feet.
It's too much fun. It's just literally too much fun. Too much fun. All right, let's back it up. That's out of control. I'm doing too much here. So let me go back to just playing the progression so we can actually hear what's going on here, because I'm just having far too much fun. Let's go a little bit of a wider mix. We'll bring the levels down a little bit, and I just want to kind of play the. Yeah, sorry, it's out of control over here. Let me play back the hook, and I'm just gonna play through the progression with the 7. I'm just gonna play through that progression there. We have a pretty fast rotary. I'm gonna bring down the level of the preamp just a tad, and we'll just hear how it kind of fits there.
This Mississippi tree, 'cause we're in Ocean Springs. As long as I got you, babe, I got all I need. The sand, the stars, the water, nothing at your feet. Here in Ocean Springs, oh yeah. Eavesdrop over Holland stars, but it's close that all up right. Our golf carts touch up a little. We'll stay on the phone when I wanna be here. Yeah, here it seems like the perfect place to be. Magnolia State.
to me, how you structure this is completely up to you, right? Like you don't have to do all the BS I'm doing here. The idea, I think, even the piano, in that format, in that context, it just immediately like livens up the whole thing for me. It feels more fun. It feels more dynamic. It feels more vibrant. To me, having either just like a fun, it makes it more alive, right? Right now, the structure of the production I think is fantastic. Moving to the solos on the saxophone, fantastic. All of this is done so well. Your vocal, fantastic. It's awesome. So if we can still make sure that going into the structure of your hook, there's enough fullness in there to just like maintain attention, maintain energy, so the things don't dive bomb into the background, I think you're going to be in a much better spot as far as just like the energy of the track goes. Because you're impressive. You're a great writer. I'm loving the instrumentation on this. Like I said, I kind of wish there was a little bit more energy behind the snare and some of the drums, but I'm not even too worried about that. That's a little bit of that stylistic. Like what I'm saying isn't like the right answer and what's there is wrong. That's a bit of a stylistic decision on the engineering part, engineer and drumming side. But I do think that going into this hook, it is missing a little bit of life. The other option would be to, right now, it's more melodic forward, and underneath you have, I hear that in the brass underneath it. There's some layers of saxophone and brass underneath there that are carrying that progression. I do hear that progression in there. And that's not really presented as much in the mix. So one option would be, if you don't want to add organ, even though I think it sounds fire, if you don't want to add organ or maybe another layer of piano, a Rhodes, or a double-tracked electric guitar that's strumming in the background, I would then at least move that progression forward in the mix just a hair, so you do feel those mids a little bit more, and you have a little bit more structure behind it. That to me is like it. The structure is great, man. You're a great writer. You're a great musician. I like what you're doing. I really like this engineer too. I think they're doing a lot of things really, really well. Your processing is great. There are a couple little structural things there that I think could just bring it to life a little bit. But super fun. Let me hear the last 20 seconds here.
Got all I need. The same stars, the water laughing at your feet. Hear an ocean screams, oh yeah.
Sax is so good, man. It's so good. Gorgeous ending. Chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. Love it. Yo, show some love to Brian. Hold on. Music is randomly playing again. Show some love to Brian Nicholson. The song is called Ocean Springs. Can't wait for it to come out. You're amazing, man. You're very, very, very talented. Brian Nicholson, you do still have music out on all platforms, right? If you do, let people know. If you want to go find it, look for Brian Nicholson. They're over on TikTok right now. Go search them up. Look for their music. You're going to enjoy what you hear and what you experience there. Make sure that you're following him on platforms as well. We love and appreciate you, man. Brian has been around this life for years at this point. And I appreciate every time that we get a chance to hear your vocals, hear your songwriting, man. I genuinely feel like you have a lot of great things coming your way when it comes to you releasing your music. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We've got WaveLength in the building. Let me close out of this track here really quick. WaveLength, hop in the chat. Just let me know that you're here. This will probably be my last two tracks of the night. It's already very late and I'm very tired. It's been a very long day. But I want to get into these last two tracks. That's what I'm saying, Libby. That's what I'm saying. I can't wait for a Brian show. That's what I'm saying. There's WaveLength. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. VIP passes and signed copies of Harry Potter 3. Let's go. Let's go. I love it. I do. I can't wait, man. I feel so excited to be able to finally meet some of the community someday when we don't have so much craziness going on. We're so excited to just be able to support you in any way that we can. It means so much to us. All right. This is Dreaming in the AM by WaveLength. Wave, drop some details. I don't have anything in the email here. I've obviously heard your music before, but give me an update on your role in this track, from production, performance, and mix. Let me know who's handling all of that. That situation changes for people from song to song. Some people who were doing BeatStars beats and, you know, leases and stuff like that are now producing for themselves. Some people went the other direction, right? They were trying to produce for themselves and they said, I can't do that. I'm going to go lease or work with another producer at a studio, stuff like that. So talk me through the details of this record in particular here and where you're at with, like, you know, finalizing it and getting it out. But this is Dreaming in the AM. Let me get it downloaded. Dreaming in the AM by WaveLength. Let's get into it. Hold up. There we go. Didn't want to load for a second there. WaveLength says, I'm the engineer, songwriter, producer, etc., etc. I love it. I know that's one of the things I've loved about your music, but I want to make sure everybody is aware of the skills that we're hearing here. So let's get into it. Dreaming in the AM by WaveLength.
I've been floating off your love, it feel timeless. Tryna find my way, but you changing like the climate. And dream, I don't know where my mind is. Late night text, but your tone turn the brightest. Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way. Heart too cold, but it melt when you stay. Told you don't run, but you still got away.
Love the high melody there.
Guess some things don't heal with it. You got me slipping through the phases. Tired of the chase, but I still feel contagious. Touching on my soul, girl, you changing up the pages. Acting like we done, but we fall back to the same shit. Ride out, feelings I can't hide now. Told me you be real, but you never pick a side now. FaceTime calls, you be asking for the vibe now. But when I hit you back, you be living in a lie now. Hold on, breathe slow, I don't wanna lose me. You say let go, after everything you show me. Heart's been too cold.
Nice melodies, man. Nice melodies.
Girl, you always keep me losing. Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way. Heart too cold, but it melt when you stay. Told you don't run, but you still got away. Guess some things don't heal with it.
Vocal structure's great, man. Really, really nice. Yo, give it up one time for WaveLength right here in the chat. They're over on TikTok as well. Show some love to WaveLength. Let's dive straight in. Everything that you hear was done, written, performed, mixed, mastered, produced by WaveLength. Dreaming in the AM. Talk to me about where you're at with like releasing this, where you're at like finalizing it. This sounds really nice, man. I don't think you're far away from a release on this one bit. I want to listen to some melodic stuff, but this is really, really well done, man. The balance between vocal and production and kind of the marriage between the two, I think is really, really nice. That vocal really sets into this production really cohesively and I feel like really in a way that feels very, very tight and very well structured. So let's get into it. Dreaming in the AM by WaveLength. Let's dive in, man. You're super talented. What did we talk about earlier? Immediate introduction to a vocal texture. Immediate introduction to the artist on the song. Such a big fan. It makes such a big difference because immediately you're like, okay, I'll wait it out. I'll see what this is all about. I'll see if this artist is worth listening to. You'll at least give it a shot because you hear someone there. We were literally just talking about that like an hour and a half ago. This is really like my other songs. It's really just a diary entry. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. It does feel a bit more like moody and emotional, which I really like. I appreciate that. I also love hearing your vocal range in the song too.
I've been floating off your love, it feel timeless. Tryna find my way, but you changing like the climate. And dream, I don't know where my mind is. Late night text, but your tone turn the brightest. Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your.
This change, man, come on. This change in melody right here. Woo! slow, those like sevenths right there, and those melodic changes right there to me are everything about this song. Your lower register is great, and the flow is consistent, and it's well established in the song. But it's those high melodies and those switches right there that to me give you all of the emotion in the song. That's where I really start to feel like the mood change in the song. It's such a great addition to the record.
Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way. Heart too cold, but it melt when you stay. Told you don't run, but you still got away. Guess some things don't heal.
It could be, let me back up. I want to hear something here real quick.
I get lost in your way. I don't know where my mind is. Late night text, but your tone turn up bright.
Yeah, I just learned about, he said, I love sevenths. I just learned about them, but they sound great, man. They sound great. They fit well in this song structure.
Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way. Heart too cold, but it melt when you stay. Told you don't run, but you still got away. Guess some things don't heal with it. Yeah, you got me slipping through the phases. Tired of the chase, but I still feel contagious. Touching on my soul, girl, you changing up the pages. Acting like we done, but we fall back to the same shit. Ride out, feelings I can't hide now. Told me you be real, but you never pick a side, no. FaceTime calls, you be asking for the vibe now. But when I hit you back, you be living.
Okay, one, honestly, there's not really a lot that I would do a whole lot of work on this. I think I think you're emoting well. Your confidence on the mic is obvious. You're doing a great job, man. Killing it. Seriously, you're doing a great job, and you should be really proud of this. The only other thing that I want to hear is like I hear that there are vocal layers here. I know that they exist in the mix because I can hear like the evidence of them, if that makes sense. But I don't really feel them there. I feel like some of your vocal layers in the background here that are doing like your harmonies and stacks. I think the ad-libs are fine. They're a good addition to kind of fill in the gaps, have some counter melody in there in between lines. I think that's fine. But those stacks that you have, they're really, really nice. There's some great harmonies in there that I can like barely hear. I think partially because they're maybe, all I kind of hear is like the high-end frequency excitement. I don't know if you use Fresh Air, but it sounds like there's like just high-end frequency excitement on those background vocals. And that's kind of all I am experiencing from them. I'm not really feeling them in the mix, and I would love to feel them a little bit more in the mix and not be so thin, so bright, and so excited at the top, but actually hear them a little drier so I can actually like feel those vocal stacks when they come in. There's some beautiful harmonies in here. Definitely use Fresh Air. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's like I just hear a lot of like the high-end frequency excitement, right? There's a little at the top of the vocal right there, that kind of high-end hiss. You could a couple things, you could dial that back by like 10% and just bring it a little bit more under control, so you're not just hearing the excitement, but you actually hear the vocal. And that will also, if you're thinning them out quite a bit, I don't mind a thinner background vocal because sometimes it gives you some space in the mix, but I would maybe reintroduce just a hair of warmth in like the low mids and the lows of the vocal again. So just as an example, if between 100 and 300 hertz, 100 and 400 hertz, you're pulling that down quite a ways to, make it sound a little bit brighter, and then you're increasing Fresh Air, so we have this like wide, bright vocal stack, I would just rebalance it slightly, right? Just pull back on some of the high frequency excitement and reintroduce some warmth back in the low mids, like, 400 hertz and below in the lows. Reintroduce some of the warmth back in there so that you kind of feel that vocal stack there. Just a hair. Don't go too crazy because they'll sound muddy, but just a hair to give you some more energy in those vocal stacks, because they're there, and I love that they're there, but I don't really feel them, and I do think they're a great addition to your vocal stack. So let me hear that again.
Acting like we done, but we fall back to the same shit. Ride out, feelings I can't hide now. Told me you be real, but you never pick a side, no. FaceTime calls, you be asking for the vibe.
Like right in there, the FaceTime calls. I hear like a third harmony that cuts in right there, and a couple other stacks, but all I hear is the hiss. All I hear is the high frequency excitement. I would love to hear those harmonies there, because you got a great voice, man. Your melodies are addicting. They're really, really well done. I want to feel those stacks a little bit more, not just hear the hiss from them there, because now all I'm hearing is really bright, because your lead vocal has a lot of that too, which I don't mind as much. That makes sense, I think, in the song structure. I still think you could dial it back a little bit, but the lead vocal I don't mind as much. But on the background vocals, all you get is that hiss and like the really bright hall reverb that's back there. So you just get a lot of that energy in the far, far high frequencies in the whole mix, left and right. So if you dial that back a little bit, I think it's going to feel warmer, easier to listen to, and you'll also feel those vocal stacks a bit more.
But when I hit you back, you'll be living in a lie now. Breathe slow.
love these melodies.
After everything you show me, heart's been too close. Now the boundaries get confusing. It flows again, girl, you always keep me losing. Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way. Heart's
Love. Let me back it up a little bit. Yeah, you're crushing it, man. Honestly, this is very, in my opinion, very near ready to go. A little bit of polish and a little bit more intention on the vocal stacks, and I think you'll be good to go. Let me double check a few other things.
it flows again, girl, you always keep me losing. Ooh, you move slow, I get lost in your way.
I think another thing you could do, just an idea. I'm gonna throw out some ideas. You can feel free to ignore this. I love these breaks in the production right here because your reverbs are so long and so prominent, which I love. I want this to feel spacious. I want it to feel moody and emotional. I think the reverb really helps with that. In this little pocket right here, when you have these breaks, ooh, it's so you go into that melody run right there. It's still like bright long tail hall reverbs, so you don't really get as much of like a break from all of that energy, right? It's like very consistent. It just kind of keeps going through. I would love to hear a little bit of a break, at least before the vocal starts, right? So here,
Let go. After everything you show me, heart's been too close. Now the boundaries get confusing.
yeah, dude, I'm so excited. You're crushing it, man. Seriously, you're very talented. I think you work in this genre as good as anyone on here. You're doing a great job, man. So seriously, keep chipping away at this because you've got the skill for it. You've got the writing ability. I think your intuition for melody specifically is fantastic, dude. It's so good.
You always keep me losing. Ooh, you move slow like
So like right in here, gonna be losing. That little melody right there. I would maybe dry up your reverb just a little bit on the vocal break. When you do this next little vocal run, I would just automate your reverb back by excuse me, like, 10-15% or so. Like bring that reverb back for a little bit so that vocal just like slices and it cuts through kind of dry. And then when everything comes back and it feels really spacious, that contrast and that like shift in energy right there, I think will make it feel even more engaging. So as soon as like that vocal cuts in and the 808 cuts, it like kind of puts you on the edge of your seat for a second. Like, ooh, it's just like really tight. You're locked in, and then everything gets really spacious after that. A little bit more intention on the processing there for the vocals. I think we'll just make it feel more professional. It'll make it feel more intentional. Like there's a lot of like time and effort and control put around processing that vocal. Otherwise, man, I think your melodies are great. Your repetition is good. Good formatting and structure for the song. You're crushing it, man. And the production to me it's simple. It's clean. I wouldn't really add or take away anything. Feels dynamic.
some things don't heal when it hits.
Love the vocal structure. All this too, and you're keeping the song under 2 minutes. That's fantastic, man. That's great for playlisting. Great for playlisting. Y'all, give it up for the family. Give it up for the family, man. That is Wavelength. Dreaming in the AM. I love what you're doing, man. Seriously, I mean, you're crushing it. You're doing so many things really well. A little bit of polish and like maturing of the vocal structure there. Get those harmonies up, man. You got great harmonies, great vocal structure. I don't want them to hide behind any processing. You know what I mean? Like, I think you have such a good voice, good melodic structure. People are going to love it. People are going to love it. I mean, the people that like this style are going to be all in on you, right? So I don't want you to hide behind any processing. You can control the reverbs a little bit better. You can push your layers forward, and you can reduce some of the high-end excitement so that your vocal still sounds like your vocal, even with the stylistic and genre decisions that you're making. I still want to hear Wavelength, and I want to be able to like distinguish your voice. Like when your voice comes on the spin on Spotify or on the radio or whatever, I want to be able to know that it's you. But if it's too disguised by, I think, too much high-end excitement, too much reverb, too much tuning structure, too much whatever, oversaturated and stuff like that, then it starts to sound like every artist that also does that same kind of overprocessing. I want it to be stylistically, consistent with what you want while still being able to recognize your voice. So just a little bit more control in those elements. I think you'll be able to shine, man, because you are genuinely really talented. Show some love to the family. Wavelength, we love you. You're amazing. Let's close it up, y'all. I think we got something special, if I'm not mistaken. I think we got something special in store for this last track. At least I think it's special to me. This is Joseph. I don't know why every time I have to say Joseph, I have to say Joseph. I don't know why. I literally have no idea why. That's like a stem of mine. This is his first crack at producing. If I'm not mistaken, Joseph, hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. If I'm not mistaken, that's true. That is, oh, that's so true. That's so true. I don't know why I never, it's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie. It's like one of our favorite movies. It's a Wonderful Life is such a good movie. We watch it nearly every year. I literally am just putting that together for the first time now that I've heard that. And I literally just keep saying, every time I hear Joseph, I have to say Joseph. And I could never realize why until Libby just said that right now. All right, this is gonna be our last track, y'all. This is gonna be our last track of the day. We've got Joseph in the building. He sent, I do wanna make sure that he's here. I'm not seeing him on Twitch or on TikTok just yet, but he might be just typing an amazing, there's Joseph. I do see him. Okay, beautiful, he's here on Twitch. I just wanna make sure we didn't listen without you. This is their first crack at making MIDI instruments and producing. So I'm thrilled by this. We're hearing this from Snow. We're hearing this from other people. They're working and chipping away at their own productions and starting to build MIDI and sequence and program and stuff. I'm such a fan. So Joseph on Twitch, talk to me through what this is. Talk me through what this is, what I'm listening to. You know the deal better than most people on this live. Give me details, give me context. I got 2 files here. Are they the same file or are they different? One is 10, one is horns, just horns. Let me know if there's a difference between the two or if I should listen to both back to back and have some kind of a comparison. Let me know. That way we can get into the details. But this is one of just our friends, family. He's amazing. Joseph, we love you. Just such an incredible part of our family here and our community here. We love you so much, man. But let me go ahead and download these tracks really quick, and then we'll get into this one. This will be the last one for the day. You're totally good, man. You're totally good. Yeah, sorry, I was lurking. One of my friends asked me to help them make an opening for a Tonight Show they are doing for a project. The horns is the first thing I did, and then after they asked me to edit it a bit, so horns 10 is the 10th edit. Okay, I'll go. I kind of want to see where you're going with it. So I'm going to start with the first one and then we'll go ahead and listen to the second one. We'll go ahead and listen to both. Little upright bass action. Let's go. Yeah, I love it. Joseph. All right, there's the first pass, y'all. For one, show some love to Joseph. First crack at doing MIDI instruments and producing, dude. I love it. I already have ideas. Let's get into it. Let's go to horns 10. But please show some love. Shout out to Joseph. This is also, let me just say, this is a vulnerable thing. We get a lot of people in here sending their first times doing stuff, just because most people send in unreleased music. 90% of people send in unreleased music. So the fact that people are sending in like their first time singing on their own record, their first time producing, like their first 3 times like producing or playing instrumentation on their own records, that's a vulnerable thing to do. So make sure y'all are showing love and support to every single artist that is being vulnerable enough to put their music on the stage like this. That's not an easy thing to do. Let's go horns 10. This is an updated version of that. We're just kind of building out this production structure, and we'll talk about some of the details of that. But shout out to Joseph. Man. Already got more loudness. Let's go. Yo, give it up one time for the family. Joseph, let's get straight into, okay, so the first thing that I would focus on, I'm gonna switch over to DAW here for a second. We're gonna mess around with some brass and stuff. The first thing that I would focus on is just creating, there were no drums on that. That was it. That was the whole thing. Is there another one you want to send? Do you have an updated one? If you do, send it through. Let me see. Let's see. That's horns 10. Let me double check that it was horns 10, the one that was on here. Let me make sure the right one's downloading. Horns 10. Oh no, that is a different one. When I clicked horns 10, it for whatever reason it didn't download that one. Okay, oh hold on. Let me hear this, because that is different. That is different already. Let me listen to this. No, you got it. For whatever reason, when I clicked it, it just went to the first one that I downloaded. So. Son of Synth, welcome in. Are you just playing the drums on the, You're good, you're good. We'll work it out. Are you just playing them on the MIDI controller? Okay, cool. That gives me better context with that percussion on the pads. Perfect. So that's like what I have on mine here too. Okay, so the first thing, talk to me really quick. Are you recording to a click track on this? I know the brass and the upright bass is quantized, so I know that's to the grid. Dun, 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 dun. So I know those have at least been recorded to a click track or inputted in MIDI in a way that is on the grid. Okay, I would. I know we've talked a little bit about this with the vocals and stuff too, but I would record with the click track, right? So just being able to have this, you know, let me solo this. You know. This is obviously a bit slower, but having that, and so you know, it's just gonna make it so much more dramatically easy for you to follow the rhythm of everything that's going on. I do need to start doing it. Always makes me overthink for some reason. And there's a balance, right? You have to find, there's a balance, right? Between finding what maintains creative inspiration and what practically gets you the best result. Obviously, the more skilled you become at what you're doing, the more you can blend the two, right? So like I played drums since I was 4 years old, right? I played in band, I played in churches, I played in random stuff, right? And I've always played, when I started teaching myself drums, I just started when I was really young and started teaching myself, I started playing with a metronome. So I could keep rhythm really, really consistently. And I got used to it. And what you find is when you start creating with a metronome, when you get used to it, it takes some time. When you get used to it, it is much less likely to rob you of like creative freedom, right? I only really use it if I need it when I'm tracking or when I'm actually recording. So if I'm just like messing around with stuff, I don't like typically have it on all the time unless I feel like I need it to give me some structure. If I don't have percussion or drums in there, maybe. But it is very helpful. Like when you're recording here, being able to just know, okay, I know what kind of drums I want to hear, and just it's gonna line up so much easier. And then you can get into quantizing, which, you know, would be like, it's like auto-tune for rhythm. It allows you to take all of those MIDI notes and split it to the grid and line them all up so it's all in the same rhythm. And then you could do some editing from there. But I would definitely track those drums on the grid, because what I'm hearing here initially is that the drums are all just out of, it's not even that they're like bad drums, they're just all out of time from the brass and the bass that's there. And so they don't line up with the same rhythm, right? So for example, the drums are like a lot faster. So you have dun, 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 and then you have to, they're like a little bit faster than the brass and the bass. So we just got to get all those things to line up so that you're hearing. You can hear how the rhythm starts to kind of slowly unravel and slowly go off. So that's where I would just make sure that you have it on a click track so that all of the brass, all of the bass, and all of your percussion are lined up and then quantized to keep it all on the grid. Now let's talk about some structure here, because I think one of the things that you're going to want to do, let me get some horns. Let's see. Oh, I'm so loud. What am I doing? All right, let's see what's. I'm going to go back to the last one without the drum so I can hear the rhythm a little cleaner. So it's kind of, well, that's a different horn. This one. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the files because they're both horns. There we go. Okay. Jesus, there's so much noise going on. What's going on? What's happening here? My brain is unraveling. Okay, so getting into these lower, slower. That sounds crazy. Honestly. It is past my bedtime, dramatically past my bedtime. All right, let's bring this down a little bit. Okay. Let's bring this back from the top here. So here's what I want you to think about structurally wise. I want to, on the bass side, there's a lot of different movements, right? So you have the bass moving constantly. Let's play it. So if that's going to happen, if you're going to have that much movement in the bass, I probably wouldn't, at least initially, have that much movement on your other melodies. Some of your other, like the brass coming in. I would probably keep these a little bit more stabby as like an accent, right? So let's see. And then break it down. Less movement and more like axis of what you're having. So. And then I'd go back. So one easy, I know it has been late, V. As I've been all over the place with my schedule, with my sleep, with my work, with everything. I've been all over the place. Yeah, it catches me off guard too. I am on my last track. I am on my last track, but yeah, it's been all over the place. So what I would do is find a consistent melody. Let me go back to piano for a second for the bass. And I would follow a more consistent progression too. So what I would do, so you're basically doing I don't want this to get too complicated, but you're essentially doing a B flat minor to an F minor. Okay, that's kind of like, and I would do those 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then switch, and then back, So basically, I think the way that makes that progression the most consistent, especially starting from scratch, starting as simply as possible, would be to do the B flat minor that you have on the bass, that little. Following that melody right there, do that 4 times, do the second one 2 times, and then back for 2 times. That gives you 8 chord progressions right there, 8 chords that you're going to, and that's like your full progression, right? 4 on the B flat minor, 2 on the F minor, 2 more on the B flat minor. That's like your full progression. And then you just repeat that, right? And that makes it really easy for you then to add the brass consistently over it. Because what happens, especially when you're starting, thank you for the Go Popular and thank you for the Heart Me. I appreciate you so much, V. Thank you for sending that in. If you have any inconsistencies with like the bass line and how you start to build the progression, it becomes then impossible to know how to match anything else over that. So then the changes over the top of it are starting to become inconsistent. And then you try to add drums, but since they're not on the grid and they're not with a click track, those then become inconsistent. And that's where it can start to feel chaotic and it can start to feel noisy. But if you keep the bass really consistent, and you basically would have, in fact, let me switch this. I'm going to try to, is there a bass here? There's a piano, violin. Oh, there is a, that's not, I don't think that's the kind of bass I need. No, that's the wrong kind of bass. I don't think I have a bass on here. Let's see. No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to switch to a bass because I actually want to showcase this loosely so you at least kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. All right, let's go here. Sorry, let me open up the DAW so we can see what's going on here because you're on Pro Tools too. So I'm going to go and expand, right? And I'm assuming this is similar to what you're using here. We're going to go to basses, and we're going to do an upright bass. So let's see. I know they have one on here. We can just see it. Yeah. Like immediately, that like structure feels more like a song. It feels like more established. It's a little high. And then down. And you're back, right? And then you layer over that the brass that you have, and you have some of the melody, the boom down, dum dum dum, boom down, dum dum dum, boom down, dum dum dum, boom down, and you have the brass stabs that kind of give you that additional energy over the top. But I would start by having that progression ultra consistent. Keep it right there. And down to 2, back. And if that's really consistent, everything that you build over the top of that is going to feel so much more like solidified in the song. Again, any level of like chaos and inconsistency in your progression structure, especially when you're first starting out producing, it's going to be layers and layers and layers on the chaos over the top of that. But then that makes it feel... sorry, you're texting and go through on TikTok. Unfortunately. Was there a message before that? Murph, welcome in. Murph, I appreciate you being here. Did it not go through on Twitch either? Let me know. Yeah, a problem I notice for me is that I always am trying to make every instrument do everything, which just makes a lot of stuff just fight for first. Use contact 8 a lot. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's, yeah, then it feels really sporadic. So what I would focus on, like you said, you want every instrument to do everything, but then it feels really sporadic, right? Yeah, I think I was scared of getting boring, which is why I kept changing. And this is where layering comes in. Sorry, my brain's shutting down. We're almost done. This is where layering, I can't think of layering. This is bad. This is where layering comes into play, right? So with 2 elements, yeah, it might feel boring, right? But in this style, you would probably want like, you know, a couple layers of brass. The bass is probably there, and then you have a couple other like, and then you have dun, 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 and then over the top of that, you would probably want to have. Let me pull up the drums here really quick. Let's see. Where's like an orchestral? I can't remember if they have one on here. Let me just double check really quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this part. Let me see. I thought they had one on here, but maybe I'm. Either way, it's not important. But what I'll do is just we'll have a room. So like all of a sudden, just like even just adding. So imagine you have the bass doing what I was doing just a second ago, boom, do 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 do, consistently, 4 on, 2 off, 2 on, just like I mentioned earlier. And if you need a references, of course, you can in depth on YouTube or Twitch. You can have a consistent progression, and then you have the brass just doing dun 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 dun, dun, and then the bass is still doing do 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 bum dum do 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 bum bum 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 do do do. So the brass is just doing dun dun, just like the stabs dun dun, and the drums dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun, and you know, and immediately just having the bass doing its line, the brass doing stabs, and the drums being there, it immediately now sounds more like a song, right? And it'll get less and less boring the more you add strategic layering to what you're doing, right? Obviously, if everything is like just the bass and the brass, it is going to feel too simple. Right. And so what you're doing now is you're maybe overcompensating with complexity in these movements in order to make up for the fact that there's just not any other instrumentation there. In a kind of a brassy, you know, like, you know, kind of like contemporary jazz, you know, kind of jazzy record like this, with some funk, you know, some funk and soul in there. If that's what you're building out, you're probably going to end up with like 30 or 40 tracks, right? So you'll have you might have 6 or 7 different layers of brass doing stabs in some other little movements. You might have the drums doing the dun 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 dun. The drums might be doing that, and then you might also have a percussion layer doing. That's where your interest is going to come from, but you're not going to find it with just those 2 layers. And I think that can be kind of overwhelming, especially when you're just starting out in production, because you're just trying to get like those 2 layers good. Right? I just want to get the bass and the brass working together. So I would start there. I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with being like, oh, I need how many layers of brass doing what different things? That's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like that feels super, super overwhelming. I'm proud of it for a 2-day project, but I would definitely have started it differently. Have had to redo it 100%. You should be massively. Yeah, he said 30. Yeah, so I don't want you to think. You should be so proud of what you're doing, for literally doing this for the first time for a 2-day project. I don't want you to look too far down the road, but I also want it to be encouraging to you in some senses that you don't have to rely on the 2 to do what 30 would typically do. If that makes some sense, right? You don't have to feel like, how do I make these 2 tracks feel like what I would typically put 30 tracks on, right? And then you can start to be less, you're less reliant on those tracks to be complex, right? So again, you just have the drums doing boom, and that's it. You can even, if you're just starting out, you could also bring in some loops to do that too, like through through Pro Tools, through a bunch of free sites. You could find some loops that are in the same BPM of some acoustic drums to see how they fit in there. Do the bass line, like you actually really like your bass line. I think it sounds really good. And then maybe a simplified brass, and then a couple other elements, and I think you'll be fine, right? You don't have to go 30, but even like 5 elements doing individual things that all work together and feel like they're pointed in the same direction, I think will be super, super helpful for you, because that bass line is actually really cool. And I already like this movement between those two chords, I already really like as well. I think it's got a really, really cool feel to it just right off the bat. And you only have 2 tracks and you worked on it for 2 days. So I think already getting this, you're already like on the right track. Like you're already doing so many things, I think, really intuitively that are really, really nice. So I would just build off of that and don't feel like you need one track to do the same as 20. I may try to make something small to help build the idea that I don't need to make everything overwhelm. Exactly. What I would do if you're just, this is the way I started producing, if it's helpful to you. When I first started, and this was like 19 years ago or something, when I was like first starting actually like track stuff. When I first started producing, I did everything in like 20-second loops, right? So what I would do is I would just make one part of a song. I didn't like try to like track piano for a whole song. I would literally, kind of like what you did here is kind of the way that I started, is I would just be like, I'm going to literally do just one progression and add things to it till it's a full chorus kind of. And then I'm like, okay, well, how can I make it a verse? And then I would copy it over and I would just like take out some of the louder things and it was a verse. You know what I mean? And I would like take out the drums and all of a sudden I was like, oh, here's kind of like a bridge. And then I would take out another couple things and like maybe I'd only put piano and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like what an intro could be. So I would encourage you, if you're starting to build up production, start to build out layers over like one small loop without the pressure of it being like a minute long or like 2-3 minutes long, and just take like 15 seconds of literally just this, nothing else. And just build on that. Just have that loop and then add, then just do the brass and then boom, 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 boom. Just add that. And you have it on a 15-second loop right here, or 10-second loop. And you're just learning how to build layers to that one pocket of information. Then you can take away and add things to make it a different segment of the song. You can change the chord if you want to. You can add a different loop. But that makes it a lot less like lower stakes for you to like add a bunch of things to your production, right? Because you're not like, where would this fit in the song? Should I change this here? And should I make this more interesting here? You're just like, how do I build one moment in the song for 10 seconds and learn how to add things that sound good? Because if your pressure is to put it in a structure, then you're kind of already at a deficit because you're like, okay, I'm adding brass, but I need it to like change. I need it to be different. I needed to shake things up already. If you take away that pressure, and you just say, here's a 10-second loop, I'm just going to add good sounding things to this. Then all you have to focus on is like, does the brass sound good over the space? If it doesn't, let me just focus on the brass and change the brass and change the saxophone and whatever, and make it sound good over the bass. And then you just focus on the drums. The drums are off time, and I only have 10 seconds to think about. I have 10 seconds right here. The drums are off time. How do I get them on time? You add a click track, you record them only for the 10 seconds. So you're not worried about creative inspiration for 3 minutes. You're just worried about getting decent sounding drums over 10 seconds and then quantizing them so they're in time. Boom. All of a sudden you've got cool bass line, stabby brass, and in-time drums, and you start building from there. You're like, you know what would be cool? A shaker. Well, what BPM is this? It's 130 BPM. So let me find a shaker loop that's 130 BPM, slide it in there. Oh, beautiful. It's too loud. Let me turn it down. Your sole focus is like creating a cool pocket in 10 seconds. And then that 10 seconds is great. It's fantastic. And then you're like, okay, that sounds like a really cool big part of the song, but I need it to sound smaller. So let me have a verse that's just those same drums and the bass. And that's it. Drums and the bass. And you just copy the drums and bass over. And then you start to build structure. But you started from a place where everything is working together. Everything is collaborative. Everything's pointed in the same direction. Does that make sense? I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And I feel like I'm ranting and rambling so much, but I hope that is somewhat helpful. I don't feel like my brain is doing the best job today. Perfect. I'm so glad that it makes sense to somebody. I don't feel like my brain is working the way that I want it to right now. Obviously, I can barely get words out of my mouth. I love you, Joseph. You're amazing. You're not knowledge. Let me know. Let me what you say. Let me know what you mean on Twitch. I want to make sure that I'm reading the right message. I need to start taking producer lessons. I need to post more. I did post a video, Joseph. I don't know if you saw it about. I did one about how simple it can be to make a pop song, but I think the rules apply. So there's two there's 2 videos that might be helpful for you. I'll do more. I'll do a lot more. I'll do a lot more because I want to talk more about this stuff, like getting into production for the first time, because I feel like it's really valuable. I did a video on YouTube a couple months ago that was about like how easy it is to make a pop song and how you can make a pop song with 5 tracks. That would be, obviously you're not making a pop record here, but I think the rules apply. The same rules apply of like how you build a pop structure, and how you add layers and what layers you should look for adding. And then I did another one a couple years ago, but I think it's still on my YouTube channel, that was using loops. Which again, it's like I don't really use a lot of loops unless it's just something specific I really need. But I did it for beginning producers to learn what to look for, what to search for, how to add it in, stuff like that. Those 2 videos would probably be decent starting points for you to just like learn some of the language about what you need to look for in structuring those productions and how it would like best support you getting started as a producer. One, simply finding and dropping in loops, and the other being how to build it like an easy structure. But I'll post a lot more. I'm really trying to pursue doing a lot more on YouTube. So I'll keep that in mind too, and I'll make more like beginning producer videos too, because I do think it would be really helpful. Y'all please show some love to the absolute family, Night Slasher TV over on Twitch. Go watch them game. Go hang out with them. Send them gifts. Send them money. It's times are tough. Bless the family when they're up on the board. Show them some love and support if you ever find them live. And then also, I've been working with Joseph on some tracks recently. I'm really excited for us to be able to get them out as well. I'm really excited for the productions and the songs that he's writing. He is very talented. I think they would be awesome, and hopefully with our music soon it will help me convey stuff for us. I love it, man. I'm so excited that you're getting into production as well. That to me just makes me so happy. So please show some love to Joseph. He's over on Twitch right now, but he's also over on TikTok. So excited for you. Please show some love. That is gonna do it today, y'all. My brain is done. Yes, send me money. Yeah, I said yes. Please send me money. We all need it. We all need it. Please show some love and support to the family. A quick reminder before we hop off of the live stream. I appreciate y'all so much today. The music has been amazing. The community has been amazing. I'm so happy and grateful to be able to spend this time with y'all, and for your generosity in sending in your submissions, but also your generosity with your time and your creativity. It means so much to me. Just a quick reminder for those of you who don't know, maybe you're here for the first time or you're hanging out in the background. My name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've done for 13 plus years. And I'm also a classically trained musician. That is what I do for a living. So if anyone is ever interested in services, if you're ever looking for a full package producer, if you're ever looking for session work where I track guitars, I track synths, vocals, I've got live drums, guitar, bass, so on and so on, or you're looking for a mixing and mastering engineer, that is what I do for a living. So if you're ever interested in services, just shoot me a message on Instagram or DM, or you can go to my link tree and click on the Obsidian Key website and reach out through the contact form there. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And we can work out the details of your budget, your timeline, your capacity, and stuff like that. I would love to help bring your record to life if that's something that you're interested in. I love and appreciate y'all. Hopefully we'll see y'all all very soon. I will probably be live for just a little bit tomorrow as well. But anyways, I love you and appreciate y'all. Peace.